Hello and welcome, DCL fans. So, we got a little bit of an introduction to do for this stream. But first, let me go ahead and link it to all the places. Right here. And... where is it? There. Boom. So... we got some interesting stuff to go over. This is a game from week 5, by the way, but we'll get to that in a second. Alright, so going into week 7, which is happening as we speak, all these week 6 games, they just happened a few days ago. But going into week 7, we were like, okay, this playoffs race is super awesome. Technically, 0 teams are eliminated. This is really hype, right? But then, W haircut? Yeah, got them all cut. So, Theodore Manny noticed that his teammate, Stories here, well, you see in this game, we went over it last week. Tera Zarud, Tera Mesprit, Tera Keldeo, with Tera Salazzle as well. You're gonna see in this game, we already went over it if you're so interested in like an analysis. Ursaluna does some crazy stuff at lead. There's an eject button thing. Tera Keldeo. Whoa. And you're gonna see this Zarud is not terraing, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Here's some like substitute, some Blood Moon, one-shots Landorus. Never mind, that is a bulky Landorus. I would calm mines just for the love of the game. Love that. Right, Scarf Zarud. And where is it? It gotta be sometime soon here. Scarf Keldeo does not kill Garchomp. Got screens up. Cinderace in. U-turns to Mesprit, and we tear the Mesprit. Yes, this is the Tera Mesprit. Now, folks, I'm just going to show you the dock here real quick. Make sure the dimensions are somewhat reasonable. Alright, so this is the matchup for this. Do you see a Tera on that Mesprit? Well, the Subway Surfers did, because when they put their matchup together for their teams, like the little graphics, someone accidentally put a Tera Mesprit in there. Yep, you see the T? That's right there. So, Stories the whole week was prepping with a Tera Mesprit. His whole team thought they had a Tera Mesprit, because actually this team has been benched up until week 5. This is the first time they've actually brought it to a week. Now somehow, Josha, while playing, did not realize that his opponent used an illegal Tera. So it took a whole week and a bit, like more than a week, for people to recognize, hey, that's not supposed to happen. And so that was reported to the authorities, and so this game being overturned, because obviously this Tera Mesprit ends up sweeping eventually. Actually, no, it doesn't. It didn't even like do anything crazy, but it did set up an endgame for Scarf Zarud to win. But because it's an illegal Tera, Stories is no longer the winner here. Josha ends up with the win, and because of that, the playoff race has become a lot less interesting, let's say. But we can get into that once we get into all these games, right? I don't remember seeing Tera Mesprit in the matchup graphic. Must be misremembering it. From what Joshua was saying, he was already tilted from like what's going on in the game, so he was just like, whatever, man. You didn't even notice. Because like Zarud plus Mesprit Tera is something that we've seen in the past. So it's not like unreasonable to be like, okay, he's probably prepping against Tera Zarud all week. Then he gets to the actual game and oh, the Mesprit Teras instead. Wasn't expecting that, but oh, whatever. You don't think, oh, wait, is that illegal? I don't know, man. That's kind of crazy though, no? So Subway Surfers literally cheated. But it's okay, we caught it before the playoffs were decided, because imagine if this came out like after the semifinals. Now that would be a popcorn moment. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started here. Unbelievable? Here's the thing. I believe it. Yeah. Alright. So what series are we starting with here? Let me pull it up the thing. So Rob Jr. is going to be on... I should have these memorized by now, but I don't. So Rob Jr. is on the Yarn Yoshis, and Iron Boulders is on the Ancient Tacticians. Right. And so Tacticians are basically one win away from basically locking playoffs. But they're not locked yet. And so they're playing the Yarn Yoshis, a team that's been very negative. I think they're like 1 win, 4 losses going into this week, so you want to be able to pick up a win against them if possible. So, I mean, Iron Boulders, he's a great player. Rob Jr., also one of my goats here, so should be a good game. And we're playing Gen 6. So, Iron Boulders, he's been kind of flexing among a bunch of tiers. He's played Swish, he's played, I think he played Sun and Moon, I think he played SV, and now he's playing Aura, so he's kind of hit all the tiers if I'm not remembering incorrectly. Besides VGC, of course, but hey, can't expect that. So, yeah, kind of must win for Tech, and that's not must win, but if you win here, your chances for playoffs are looking super sweet. Beso, can I get Beso? You can get as many Besos as you wish, of course. And the Yarn Yoshis, technically, they're not out of playoffs. It's a little bit of a situation here, but if they win this week, and then a few things go right for them week 7, they can actually sneak into playoffs after starting very negative. Purposely slotting into opponent's easiest players. Let's get this fact straight. I mean, he has been flexing. I don't know why, but who's to say? Let's get into the game. So we have this like Magic Bounce plus Volcarona kind of thing here with good removal. I mean, makes sense. Mega Guard Breaker, win-con, all that stuff. Rob Jr. using more of like a, I want to say like a somewhat standard thing with like Greninja, Gallade, Kyurem Black. I've seen this combination quite a bit before in the past, I feel like. Maybe not exactly the same 3, but definitely Gren, Kyurem, right? Because Gren like smokes offense and Kyurem smokes fat teams. That kind of dynamic. Used to see that as well with like Greninja plus Mega Metacham a lot. But yeah, similar idea here with like some fat guys. A Donphan mirror, oh my god. Let's get right into it. Got a Greninja lead off into the Weavile. Do we see a Scarf Gren? We see Weavile switching out into Espeon on the T-Spikes. So calls out the T-Spikes, and now the Rotom's going to come in on the U-turn. So Rob kind of forced into his Skuntank to absorb these T-Spikes, and that's going to allow this Rotom to get a free Will-O-Wisp off in exchange for a Toxic, but I think you'll take that as the Rotom. You want the Skuntank weakened for your Weavile. And now we're going to go into Donphan on a double Toxic. Good play from Rob Jr. And now we're going to see a Donphan come in on Donphan, and we're probably going to see a spin on the rocks. Exactly, yeah. And we see Rocky Helmet, so at least some chip is coming out. And there's the other Rocky Helmet. Shout out to Rocky Helmet, great item. And now, okay, a good knockoff into the Espeon, just 74%. But with a Reflect, the next one doesn't freaking kill. Which, to be fair, if this Donphan had Earthquake, I believe Earthquake is pretty close to base knockoff. Is base knockoff still stronger? No, it's not, right? Because of Stab. So if he had like just Earthquake, that would have guaranteed knocked out the Espeon. But he goes for another knockoff, maybe anticipating a pivot into Rotom, potentially, trying to cover that. But with Reflect up, now this Espeon's able to live another day. And no Ice Shard means we're forced into Gren. At least Gren will force this out. Into Volcarona. Volcarona, the Gren switching. I don't know about that. And he's going to get punished for it. Goodbye, Volcarona. Definitely was not expecting a Surf there. He's probably just trying to catch a U-turn. Fish for a Flame Body, but definitely not working out for him. Now at least Gardevoir can get a free switch in, but Eject Button Slowbro allows the pivot into Skuntank for free. That being said, burned Skuntank into a Reflect up on Mega Gardevoir. I don't think this Mega Gardevoir is too concerned about this. Probably just going to stay in. Goes for a sub. Can we sub on this? We can sub on this. That's a quarter damage on the Skuntank, so I'd be surprised if you couldn't sub on that. And with a Protect here, all of a sudden this Eject Button into Skuntank is looking like it's favoring Iron Boulders here. So that Skuntank is going to go down, and Gardevoir now has a sub up. You're going to have to go Greninja and U-turn. He could go for a sub here, predicting that. Does he? No, just goes straight for the Hyper Voice. Takes the guaranteed KO, which is going to be on the Slowbro. honestly, probably the best sack available for Rob Jr. Now, Kyurem Black gets to come in. We see this is like a fatter Gardevoir, so either this is Scarf Kyurem or he just knows that he's faster based on damage rolls. But it seems he's probably Scarf here. Goes for the Iron Head into the Rotom Wash. And we're going to switch Donphan, trying to catch a Volt Switch, but instead a Will-O-Wisp comes out. So Donphan, not long for this world, but now Espeon's going to come in. A nice double to Greninja. And where's the Dark Resist? It's only Weavile, really. And actually, we can just click Surf because it 2-KOs Rotom from that range. Okay, he's going to scout for the Custap Berry into Donphan. No Custap is revealed, but better safe than sorry, I guess, if you're Rob. You really don't want to sack your Gren in this position. And a double back to Kyurem, catching the Gardevoir. And now we're going to see another Iron Head because the Rotom Wash, as the Iron Head switch in, it's at 7% now. So this Kyurem looking like it's going to take a kill right now, and it's going to be the Donphan. Now Weavile comes in, but this is Scarf Iron Head. Oh, it lives. And Knockoff, not quite going to KO the Kyurem, but it's going to 2-hit KO, good enough. But now Gallade comes in, and you're going to see a Vacuum Wave Gallade knocks out the Weavile. Espeon comes in, sets up the Reflect, but Poison Jab is going to proc the Poison immediately. The Espeon very low. You're going to swap to Greninja on the Forced Morning Sun, but going for a Yawn instead should just be a free U-turn here. I don't see why you wouldn't. Exactly, U-turn there, back into the Gallade, assuming Poison Jab kills from here, which it's a Mega Gardevoir, so probably will. And now, everything's in range of Vacuum Wave Gallade. How cool is that? Alright. That was a cool one from Rob Jr. Definitely, like, swapping in hard on the Volcarona on the Gren was certainly a play of all time, but I do think Rob played quite well with the doubles into Greninja, getting a lot of turns with his Kyurem, Greninja, and Gallade, just able to break down Iron Boulders' team over time. Obviously, the Donphan did its job preventing hazards, and that's pretty much it. So starting off 1-0 for Yarn Yoshis, and then we go into Game 2, which is Dawn Mist versus Palkia. Let's switch sides here, so we have the Yoshis on the left still. And yeah, let's get into the game. This is Sword and Shield. Alright, Slowking versus D-Knight. We're going to see a switch to Bronzong immediately on the Sludge Wave, so now Dawn Mist is going to get an opportunity to get rocks up. Never mind, we're tricking a Choice Scarf onto the Slowking. Okay, and we do get burned for our troubles. Hold on. We just tricked a Black Sludge and we're burned, so we're taking 18 per turn. That is rough out here on the streets. I gotta switch to Feeny, but Palkia makes a nice double into the Ferrothorn, catches the Feeny in exchange for a free Leech Seed. There's no grass type to absorb it. So Dragonite gonna get its multi-scale broken and Fire Punches into the Prim. 19? I was gonna say that looks like Choice Banded, but it revealed Life Orb, so definitely a very offensive Dragonite. But now we're gonna get a free Moonblast into very specially defensive Feeny versus a physically defensive Primarina. I'm gonna see an Encore trying to catch like a Calm Mind or something. But Primarina gonna get very weakened by this Nature's Madness. So we see a Calm Mind come out. But I don't think Primarina wins this exchange. I guess the Feeny's gonna switch out of respect, but I guess Bronzong's gonna go down, preserving the Finny HP for stuff like Garchomp, the Glastrier. Probably worth it. Now Zeraora comes into revenge. Garchomp gonna come in on that Plasma Fist. Great play here. Now we're going to see an Earthquake or something. No, Rocks go up instead. I mean, we revealed the Dragonite's not Boots, so Rocks are going to be pretty valuable here. But next time Chomp is in, there is no ground resist, and Earthquake will be coming out. It's forced out in the meanwhile, though, by Feeny into the Ferrothorn. Now, the question is, does this Feeny have Defog? You would imagine it does with no Boots on Dragonite, but right now, just going to Nature's Madness down this Ferrothorn, and we're going to switch hard out into Dragonite, which Loki, I think, might have gone down to a Gyro Ball, but instead we're going to see a double to Primarina, and probably a Thunder Punch coming out, which is going to get predicted by the Garchomp. So now, pretty free Dragon Claw. Can't really switch in very easily. Alright, Feeny comes in to force this out. Back into the Slowking Galar as a nice double into Zeraora. Now, can we catch the Garchomp coming in this time? I mean, there's no Garchomp coming in at all. Plasma Fist is less than half. Always comes prepared with the Defog. Of course, of course. But now Chomp comes in on the Bulk Up turn. Does Play Rough knock it out? Not even close, oh my god. But it is Protective Pads, so a likely Rocky Helmet Garchomp is going to be negating the passive damage with the pads. That's really nice. Our Roar comes out, forces some switches. Zeraora finds its way back in. Slowking gonna take that again though, and Sludge Wave is gonna bring this Zera all the way down to 1 HP, so it's in Rock's range. Garchomp gonna get sacked off here to the follow-up Play Rough after this Plasma Fist. And now we just need to revenge this one more time, it looks like. And that's gonna be through our Slowking. So I should be able to take a hit here and knock it out with Sludge Wave, but the immediate crit on Plasma Fist, yikes. EQ is the play for sure there. Don't like the Roar. Yeah, probably. Like, there's no ground resist. Why are we roaring? Yeah, that's definitely fair. Didn't even farm free regen on the play rough. So true. But now Thunder's gonna have to take this hit. And that's 64% on your Thunders that you're not getting back. A superpower to knock out Zeraora. So our best move to kill a 1% Zera is superpower. So it's probably Wild Charge superpower bulk up sub or something. Which seems somewhat reasonable. Maybe T-Wave on there. But definitely not another attacking like knockoff. So Crook comes in. Force this out into Primarina, which will take 2 knockoffs. So we see a Scarf Crook. And it looks like the Crook, not willing to go for an Earthquake here, is going to reveal Scarf by doing so. As Feeny comes in, probably a Moonblast is going to knock out this Prim, but we're only Training Kiss, so Prim is going to get another Moonblast off, but with the recovery from leftovers and stuff, it's not going to make that big of a difference. Feeny's still going to end up low, which is pretty important for the Glastrier, all things considered. Pharaoh comes in, I'm going to Power Whip this Feeny, and now it's up to Crook and Kyurem for this endgame, but Kyurem does look pretty dangerous outside of the Glastrier. So Glastrier seems like it has to do it all. It will be forced to take this +1 knockoff here, and kind of depends on the Kyurem set now. We're going to see a knockoff. We see an Icicle Crash that's going to knock out the Crocodile very easily. But now can Kyurem beat the Glastrier and the weakened Thundurus? Let's find out. It is Boots Kyurem. Goes for a Dragon Dance, so we see close combat. Oh, we see Heavy Slam. And Heavy Slam is just not going to cut the mustard versus Kyurem. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like 60 base power or something, maybe even less, and Kyurem just gonna eat that with relative ease, and with the Dragon Dance, Iron Head +1 gonna knock that out, and Thundurus stands no chance, and that's going to be the game. So Donmus evens up the series as we go into game 3. So Josha versus Jelbell. Alright, we see a Fortress mirror, which means I am rooting for neither of these players to win, but it is what it is, you know? At least one side has Charles Cyclizar, so I can at least root for that guy. He's pretty cool. But yeah, we see a Tera Zarude. It's like Zarude Deoxys is something we've seen in the past quite a lot, and like currently, right? Paired with Sneasler, a lot of times these teams end up with Sneasler as their like speed to bridge the gap between Zarude and Deoxys speed, because you can't really have such a big gap there. But yeah. Hey, maybe Jelbell will Tera the wrong Mon. Maybe. Maybe, just maybe. But he's not on the Subway servers, so who's to say? And Josha using this like pretty standard looking Torrenting Lu balance with Pecharunt to spin block, Fortress to stack hazards, and Rotom as a general pivot, Cyclizar as a general pivot. A lot of pivots on this team. You could say maybe it's lacking a little bit of a breaker, but Cyclizar and Torn can both kind of function that role in a lot of matchups. Alright, let's get into it. Our Tera types are Fairy on the Torn. And it looks like just Electric on the Zarude. So Rotom leads off. Into Zarude, good lead for Jelbell as Fortress forced to come out here. But the thing is, Zarude kind of beats Fortress 1v1, especially if it's like leftovers with like bulk up. Like there's not a whole lot Fortress can really do about this. So I'd imagine we're just going to bulk up on this thing. As we do bulk up, we see Pain Split Fortress, but that's not going to prevent this guy from getting +6 immediately. Go for a knockoff, which I guess we're trying to catch a switch into like a Cyclizar or something. I'm not really too sure why we're knocking off immediately, but a Lunge comes out and that's going to drop the attack. Now the thing about this interaction is that Lunge has 24 PP and Bulk Up has 32. So realistically, even though you have Lunge, you're not really able to prevent these Bulk Ups as long as the Zarude is carrying, you know, any amount of recovery move. I mean, to be honest, even leftovers is probably good enough. But Jelbell doesn't really see this and goes into Primarina instead on the Lunge. So fair enough, you get at least a turn with your Primarina, which is a pretty scary breaker into these kinds of teams. A Moonblast catches the Rotom on the switch, Is it a 2-hit KO? It is barely a 2-hit KO. So Rotom goes down immediately. And now Pecharunt comes in, goes for a parting shot on the Landorus switch into Cyclizar. So he's going to go for a knockoff. Knocks off the Covert Cloak, which makes sense as the initial switch into Pecharunt. And we're going to see a slow U-turn on the Cyclizar into Sneasler, exerting some offensive pressure, but there's plenty of checks to Sneasler. So we're going to see a U-turn, actually, as we go to one of the only Pokemon that is not immune to Poison Point. We had a Pecharunt and a Fortress, but we go Torn instead and get poisoned for our troubles. Now Zarude gets a free switch in. This Torn could go for a knockoff here. I don't really expect a Tera Blast to come out immediately. But no, we're just going to go hard Fortress. And again, you can kind of just brute force this bulk up into the Fortress. There's nothing really stopping you, but out of respect, we're going to swap into our Primarina, which is going to get caught by a Volt Switch into Petch, and now we're going to have to switch into Sneasler this time on the parting shot, and now Torn gets a free switch in. The thing with this is, though, Scarf Sneasler can just U-turn into Zarude. It's not the end of the world. We see a Psychic come out. Psychic just to Oko Sneasler with an accurate move, I guess, but this Fortress is getting quite low, but it does have Pain Split, so we'll be able to get that off this turn here. But actually go for a Volt Switch, which is definitely a hot take, I think. Pain Split would have been pretty free there, but now you have to switch into a Landorus attack, and it's going to be a U-turn into Ting-Lu. So Jelbell calling the switch correctly, gets the Primarina back in the field, and now the Water Resist is really just Cyclizar. But we see Protect Ting-Lu, so is this Choice Primarina? I guess you would be able to tell from the Rotom damage, and it looks like Josha pretty confident that this is a Choice Primarina. Gonna go hard into Cyclizar, and looks like that is to be correct as it forces out the Prim into the Fortress, and we get a U-turn into Torn, threatening Heat Wave. We're just gonna see Zarude come back in. Do we see a knockoff? We don't see a knockoff, so something tells me this Torn is not carrying knockoff. We see a Tera Fairy. So Tera Fairy Blast on the jungle healing, but with leftovers, this is going to out-heal the Tera Blast. And with poison racking up, yeah, you'd have to assume the last move is going to be a Flying Stab of some kind, maybe even a Sludge Wave for the Primarina. So this Torn pretty much confirmed no knockoff, no U-turn. You're gonna set 14 days in county prison for shoplifting toilet rolls from Walmart. Is this true, Yeardunk? Would you like to confirm or deny the allegations? Anyways, Zarude comes all the way back up to full, and now Fortress can finally get off that Pain Split, but this time Jelbell gets a switch in a Primarina, and again, it's a guessing game for Josh. Is it Moonblast? Is it Surf? And it looks like he catches the Moonblast correctly, but anytime he gets that wrong, it's a Pokemon going down, so definitely a dangerous game there for Josh to be playing. Now the parting shot into Charles Cyclizar as a spike goes up, but now you have to spin, which is going to allow this Fortress to get a body press off, which does a lot of damage. And leftovers backed up to sturdy. You're not really fearing an overheat at this point, so probably can just go for another spike. But instead we go for a Volt Switch. I mean, we get momentum either way. All good. Now Sneasler can come in because we revealed Scarf, and now the Torn is a Fairy type, so this forces it out into Petch. Get the U-turn, back into the Landorus, and now there's no ground resist anymore. This is the thing with these teams, like, once the Torn Teras, it's no longer a flying type, so obviously. So it's not a ground resist, and Rotom usually functions as the secondary ground resist on this type of stuff, but it's dead now, so it's a little bit tricky to switch into this guy, and you're going to see Taunt Stealth Rock going to completely invalidate this Ting-Lu, what it wants to do. And so we're basically going to sack our entire Pecharunt just to go back to Ting-Lu, draw another Taunt, but like, what is this? Protect, Spikes, Earthquake, Whirlwind? Is that what our set is? I guess we find out here. No, it's Payback, so why did we switch the first time? I don't know. Maybe you really thought a U-turn was coming out. Either way, now we know a Payback's coming out. We get our Primarina in, almost in Torrent range, which is going to be quite important. We do have to Protect to Scout, and a Hydro Pump comes out, but since the Cyclizar took all that damage, I mean, Hydro Pump is going to be a guaranteed KO if it hits, and it does connect onto the Cyclizar. Now Torrent comes in, reveals Boots, but Zarude, we've already revealed, is a complete wall to this, except the last move is not Sludge Wave, it's not Bleak Wind or anything, it's Nasty Plot. So this is an interesting Torrent set, like mono coverage moves, but I mean, if it works, it works. Now, we saw the Tera Blast do just over 28, so you'd You would think that 2 Tera Blasts is going to knock out the Zarude. We see the first one do 51, that feels like a low roll based on the earlier damage rolls. But if the Torn does knock out the Zarude here, it's going to go down to poison, I guess in 2 turns, right? So maybe you can just take this as an opportunity to sack the Fortress, or maybe even the Landorus, and then go for a U-turn with Sneasler, diffuse the situation, and I don't think this Torn's going to get a setup opportunity again. But instead we stay in with Zarude, get knocked out, and that guy was going to sweep in about 5 seconds, I'm not going to lie. But maybe there's plenty of ways to skin a cat, as they say. Deoxys comes in and goes for an Ice Beam, which obviously is going to force a KO as well. Maybe Jelbell is just plenty fine enough, right? Deoxys able to knock out the Tinglu. Petrun basically dead to rocks if it's not boots. Fortress comes in, dead to Psycho Boost. Yeah, Deoxys kind of has this one wrapped up anyways. And it looks like Yoshis are about to take a 2-1 lead in the series. Petrun gets sacked for the regen, but 1 versus 5, a Poison Torn, I don't think this is great odds. Goes to the Fortress, just sacking it off to Tera Blast into Heat Wave. Good job, Fortress. Love that for you. And now probably just going to go Sneasler and Dire Claw to wrap this one up. There it is. And yeah, so the Yoshis are up 2-1 now. And again, this is a must-win series for Tacticians. Not really, but like they really, really want to win this one, because then it gets pretty dicey in their Week 7 game, potentially. All right, now we have Gorax versus Hobbita. All right, Gorax rocking the Meowscarada Keldeo kind of archetype that has been quite popular recently. This one is going to be a Tera fighting Keldeo, which is quite interesting into something like the Cresselia. Usually you'd see like a Tera water into that, but with the Ogerpon right there, I guess it's a little bit more difficult to lock into water moves. So I guess you're going to go for the boost on Secret Sword. But again, that Cresselia is right there. Maybe you're planning to take advantage of that with the Scizor. Maybe with the Necrozma, something like that. A Rancid game, yeah. And on the other side, we're going to see, obviously, Ogerpon's Tera Water, and the Cresselia is Tera Fairy. Worth noting, the Necrozma is Tera Ground as well. So, alright, we see Okidoki lead off well into the Meowscarada, get a Choice Banded knockoff, we see from that damage, through Culverberry doing 50% to a bulky Rotom. Probably going to be Choice Band, right? But now threatening a Will-O-Wisp is this Rotom Wash, and Iron Treads is actually going to be the one to take it, which is interesting. You would have expected maybe a Zapdos to try to absorb that, but either way, I guess this Pain Split is coming off, and at least you get your rocks up in this situation. But Iron Treads reveals to be slower than Rotom, which is kind of crazy, and has to take a Hex to get a free switch. Now it stays in on the Roaring Moon, so Gorax making really aggressive plays, catches a U-turn into Treads, and now I guess you're hexing on the Roaring Moon swap. Yeah, so Roaring Moon comes in again, and now this knockoff is going to connect into the Rotom. But that Rotom did get a lot of value here. The Treads is at 7, it's burned, and this Roaring Moon is at least a little bit chipped. Now your Scizor can come in, probably just go for a default, get rid of these rocks immediately. Now we're just going to knock off the Choice Band on Okidoki. Fair enough. Now Close Combat comes out, and so that's going to be a lot of damage taking that Close Combat. You would have expected a Necrozma to come in, but instead our Scizor has taken a big chunk. Now Garchomp tries to force this out, get rocks up, but instead just going to stay in and go for an Ice Punch, and you're rewarded with a KO. So it's not looking great for Gorax here. Meowscarada comes in, but there's a pretty easy sack in Iron Treads here. Just going to go down to the Triple Axle. And now what? Do we go Cresselia to revenge this? Do we go Ogerpon? Are we going to Tera this? We are going to Tera this, so no Tera available for the Cresselia, which is probably fine. Gorax stays in, trying to like forcefully force the Tera with Triple Axle. Gonna go down to the Ivy Cudgel, and now Scizor's gonna come in, and obviously Bullet Punch is not gonna knock it out, but this should be some alarm bells for Hobbita, right? Why are we going Scizor here? It's Custap Berry Close Combat, so the Ogerpon's gonna go down, and Ogerpon was a pretty big threat here in the end game. It's kind of like the main thing stopping a Tera Ground Necrozma from really sweeping through the end game, as well as, you know, it's faster than Keldeo, can go for a Horn Leech or, you know, Power Whips, whatever you want. But yeah, the Custap Close Combat gonna knock out that Ogerpon. I mean, we had a full HP Zapdos, we could have just gone to that, but instead our Ogerpon goes down. Now our Scizor is going to go down to the Roaring Moon, but Keldeo gets to come in now. Do we go for a Tera Fighting here? No, just a raw Calm Mind as Zapdos comes in. We're going to go for a Hydro Pump, does 85%, which is so much damage, as we see a Tailwind get set up. So Tailwind into what? Are we trying to endgame with a Roaring Moon? Maybe the Okie Dokie? Either way, I feel like this Necrozma should be able to stop either one. Maybe the combination of both will be able to get through it. But Keldeo, I mean, this Zapdos might be in range of Vacuum Wave at this point, as we're going to see a switch to Cresselia, trying to call the Vacuum Wave, as you know, he does end up getting that. And actually, it's red card Cresselia, which is pretty cool. So forces out the Keldeo into Necrozma. But honestly, if you're Gorax, you don't mind this exchange. The Tailwind turns are getting used up on Cresselia rather than one of the scary threats. So now Necrozma gets to come in. Tera grounds immediately, goes for a Dragon Dance. Alright, and Trick Room comes out, okay, into a Lunar Dance. Alright, who are we healing up here? I don't know, but another Dragon Dance is probably coming out. No, an X Scissor. Alright, fair enough. And now Trick Room is up, Tailwind's out. It's a Tail Room team in singles. Awesome. Okie Dokie gonna come in, absorb the Lunar Dances back up to full. But can we kill this Necrozma? Gonna go for a close combat, to 61%, so not even close. And with a Citrus Berry, this Necrozma is gonna be pretty healthy going into the last Pokemon, which is Roaring Moon. I guess Zapdos as well, but yeah, Zapdos comes in. Hurricane, not quite a KO. Very close, but not quite. And then we're just gonna forfeit, because Keldeo in the back is always going to take a hit from this Roaring Moon, it looks like. Or maybe it's Scarf Roaring Moon, which would be slower in Trick Room. I don't know exactly, but he forfeits, and that's going to be the game. So now, funny enough, we find the Ancient Tacticians down 3-1 to the Yarn Yoshis. And that's a little bit wuff. It's a little bit wuff, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, and now we have Helm versus Masco. Alright, so Helm kind of using this like momentum into breaker kind of style with the Landorus into the Meowscarada and Alomomola, getting all the momentum. Yes, Fortress has like a catch-all kind of thing, like spikes, removal, steel type, all that stuff. If you see Tacticians with a Moon, just assume it's Scarf Bro, they don't know any other set. This might be true, this might be true. But yeah, now on the other side we see this like Great Tusk, Gren, Enam, Jirachi, like this top 4 kind of thing. We've seen like many teams do like this or like a very similar version to it with Cinderace over the Greninja. But yeah. Alright, we see a Tera normal Noivern, we see a Tera Fairy Enam. Then on the other side we see Electric Salazzle Steel Conch. And I don't see another Tera option. What was benched here? So Helm actually benched a Keldeo in this matchup, Tera Keldeo. That's why the Tera captains look a little bit underwhelming. But yeah, it is Keldeo, Conch, and Salazzle. Let's get into the game. Alright, Meowscarada lead into the Noivern. Meowscarada looks to be Choice Scarf, or actually it's a speed tie, right? So neither of them willing to risk it. See, double switches out immediately. Toxapex in, gonna Poison Jab into a Fortress, and we see an Infestation, which is gonna trap this Fortress, but if you have Volt Switch, which you very well could be, you could have, you can escape that pretty easily. And we actually see a Great Tusk on the Volt Switch, but the thing is, Great Tusk doesn't really beat Fortress unless it's Temper Flare, which maybe you don't really want to Temper Flare into an Alomomola switch, that'll lose you a lot of momentum. So Masco actually doubles out into Noivern, which catches a Giga Drain from Fortress, which is definitely new. That's some new technology. Gonna force this out with the threat of Flamethrower and get the defog off. Fair enough. Now Aloe gets to come in, go for a flip turn, as Alomomola tends to do. Now Landorus gets to come in on the Jirachi, threatens an Earth Power, but we're gonna double to Fortress, trying to not only scout for a Scarf Jirachi, but potentially also catch a switch into what though? I don't know. What are we trying to catch a switch into? I don't know. But gonna go for a Volt Switch on the Gren as Noivern comes out, Aloe comes in. Gonna take this Draco like it's nothing because that's a Noivern. That's Life Orb, by the way. And we're gonna get momentum out of it the turn. Now Meowscarada comes in, probably more confident to just go for a knockoff of your Choice Scarf Meowscarada because we now know it's Life Orb Noivern. And we're gonna knock off the helmet from Toxapex, and it's actually not Scarf Meowscarada, but I guess it's -2 Noivern, so it's probably a risk worth taking. Now the spike's up, we get our switch to Fortress. On the Infestation, another helmet hit. And probably just going to see a Volt Switch here. Yep, Volt Switch as Mayoouran comes out. And Mayoouran's getting very low as Aloe comes in to just go for a slow flip turn. I guess we're banking on no Roost here. Not Play Rough, actually. He's going to cover the Roost turn. So, now Jirachi in. Going to go to Fortress. And now Psychic Noise comes out. Does a little bit of chip. But can't just go for a Rapid Spin. Immediately remove the rocks. And I guess we're going to set rocks back up on the Volt Switch. So, interesting. We see Citrus Jirachi, shout out to J Ricky. And now Landers gets another free entry point. This time, just going to connect the Earth Power as the Jirachi goes down. Now Gren comes in on a balloon. But we have an AV Aloe, it looks like. So, can just go into that. But instead we set up a Spike, which is really nice from Masco. You want to set these hazards. It's going to become very difficult for this Fortress to spin now, given that it comes in at 28%. But now we get a Conk in, Mach Punch going to knock out this Mayoouran. Probably could have saved the sack, but get a free switch into Enamorous here. And we're going to double to Great Tusk, expecting the AV Aloe to come in. I mean, probably not expecting the Aloe to come in. Maybe we're expecting the Salazzle to want to pivot in on a Moonblast. I don't know. Either way, Aloe probably happy with this trade, taking a close combat, exchange for a big flip turn chip on this Great Tusk. And now Landers gets to come in for another Earth Power, potentially. Greninja comes in. Do we catch the Earth Power? No, actually Sludge Wave comes out, so a good prediction from Helm. Breaks the Air Balloon, but now this Greninja is able to go for an attack here. Forces out the Landorus. Aloe looks like it's going to be the sack here as Acrobatics comes out. Knocks out that Aloe. I was trying to catch like a Meowscarada pivot, being cheeky, but no problem. I guess it also hits Conkeldurr, so this team quite weak to flying actually. So, good bring. Now we see Toxapex catching the Mach Punch, and now Infestation comes out, but this is a bulk up Conkeldurr, which we also probably could have guessed by the leftovers a previous turn. So it's going to be able to basically 1v1 this Pex. That crit, I mean, it matters in the short run, but I think over the long run, definitely would have been fine. What a turn, right? So Conk goes for a Tera Steel trying to catch a Moonblast, but Masco reads that, goes for an Earth Power, and with a crit is able to knock out the Conkeldurr. I'm not sure if that crit mattered. I suppose it depends on the sets and the EVs, but we're going to say it didn't matter, because LOL. Now Landers comes in, we're going to sack off Gren to the Sludge Wave, and now what? Great Tusk comes in, we're kind of banking on this being Scarf Landorus. We're going to double to Enam, but actually the Tusk switches first, if you notice that. So that's interesting. Is this a Scarf Tusk? Because it's faster than the Landorus. Was that revealed already? I don't think so. I think we just close combated a Alomomola so far, right? So we see Scarf Tusk. Low-key, kind of a demon endgame, but the problem is Rocky Helmet Fortress is always going to be there to knock it out. Where's the Yeardunk game? We'll get to it, don't worry. Alright, Enam and Meowscarada come in. We see a knockoff immediately. Gets rid of the choice spec. So yeah, that crit on Conk definitely didn't matter. Now Moonblast comes out and yeah, now Salazzle's going to come in. Reveals Boots. Knocks out the Enam with a Sludge Wave. But now Scarf Great Tusk, can it pull off the sweep? No, because there's a Rocky Helmet Fortress, of course. And that's going to be the game. So Helm able to bring the series back to 3-2, but still in Yarn Yoshi's favor. As we move on to the next game, which is going to be VGC. Why is that Mantine looking like a clanker on the thumbnail? That's the Subway Surfers logo. Because they cheated. If you want details on that, I went over it at the very beginning of the stream. You can rewind, watch like the first 3 minutes of the stream if you're really that interested. But yeah, so the 4E switch was kind of crazy. You could lose to Scarf Stone Edge or something. I don't... Sure, whatever, dude. Right, Repeat versus Impulse. yeah, you have your VGC intermission. If anyone's interested, now's your chance. Alright. VGC, there's going to be 4 Pokemon on the field. It's going to be crazy. Alright, Roaring Moon Landers versus Landers. Torn got the double Genie setup for Impulse, which is always pretty scary, right? VGC made up format for nerds, literally. I agree. So, Impulse does have the Tailwind advantage thanks to Prankster, but I'm not sure that's going to end up mattering because, you know, Landers can't knock out Landorus. Nor can it really knock out Roaring Moon. So we're going to see a Protect as Scale Shot comes out onto the Torn, just trying to get a Bleak Wind or something off? I don't know, but this Roaring Moon is going to get a big hit off. Actually, we miss our Icy Wind on a Landorus and bring Roaring Moon back down to neutral, and Psychic going to obliterate the Torn. So it looks like Repeat was just trying to punish the Tailwind turn, but instead came out kind of scot-free with a free KO. See, Archaludon goes for the Tera Dragon, trying to get the power boost to knock out Landorus in one hit with Draco, I imagine. As Lando goes for an Earth Power, and it just barely misses out on the KO. And this also reveals that Impulse's Landorus is faster or it's a speed tie. I mean, it's definitely not a speed tie, right? Because this Lando went and then the Arch and then the Lando, right? So this is a very bulky Lando, which does allow it to live the Draco Meteor, get a Psychic KO. Pretty cool. Now we see a Protect as it's under threat of Aqua Jet, but guesses the Aqua Jet slot wrong, and yeah, now Rillaboom can come in. And we're going to pivot into Urshifu on the Aqua Jet, which is a nice play. And I'm going to go for a Grassy Glide. One-shots the Basculegion, so this might be a choice-banded Rillaboom if it's doing that much damage. I don't expect that to one-shot otherwise. Triple speed tie? No, I don't think so. That's not choice band, so how is it doing 100 to Basculegion? Because that's a bulky guy. I don't know how that managed to one-shot. Maybe it's like Miracle Seed or something. That would make a little bit of sense. Anyways, Repeat wins game 1, and we're going to go on to game 2. And here we go. Alright, Espathra and Roaring Moon going to lead off versus... Looks like we're running it back with the double Genies. Alright, fair enough. See a Taunt on the Espathra, which is interesting, as a Tailwind comes out, and a Lumina Crash. Going to drop the Spadef of this Landorus. Set it up for a follow-up KO. Might see a... Yeah, knockoff into the Torn, and then Espathra is going to attack the Landorus. And with a Tailwind and the Speed Boost, you're going to outspeed any Landorus, even matching Tailwinds. Yeah, and Roaring Moon with the Speed Booster, so this is just fast. Like, in Tailwind plus 2 speed. We see a Terra Stellar, just to guarantee the knockout on the Landorus. And a knockoff gets rid of the Power Herb on Archaludon. It looks like Repeat kind of has this one packed up. It's going to be a 2 versus 3 here. And it's going to be Rillaboom into the Basculegion. We already know Glide one-shots this, and yeah, it was a roll, so 47. Gonna do a lot of damage, but Shadow Ball into that slot, really heads-up play, covers the Tera option, because you're not really scared of the Archaludon and can't really one-shot either of these guys, so you just take your KO. And I'm going to Protect on the Draco Meteor as a Drum Beating comes out, stall out that turn of Tailwind, and now it's looking very over. Yeah. So Repeat with a pretty dominant showing in this game. Espathra is so bad, actually. I mean, it's been looking pretty good in these VGC games that I've watched. Repeat gonna sweep VGC. So now that's a 4-2 score for the Yoshis, guaranteeing at least a tie. Wow. Alright. E-Belt Rillatek? I think it's probably just Mystical or Miracle Seed, right? So it makes the most sense. Is it someone's birthday? Happy birthday. Alright, now we have Nim versus Lux. Alright. And I did actually mock Nim for this game. And I beat him like 3 times. He kept coming back for more. What can you do? We'll see it. I didn't give Lux my paste, so there is some hope for him to be had. But yeah, let's get into the game. This is Gen 7. We're going to see Rotom lead off into the Coco, which is a good lead for the Rotom, generally speaking. Going to take a big U-turn though, so... Yeah, into Serp on the Leaf Storm, so didn't end up working out very well. And we're just see a double to Coco on the Volt Switch, which is interesting. You would expect like a Leaf Storm, or like maybe even like a Light Screen there. But no. We see Scarf Jirachi go for an Iron Head, does not flinch. It's Central's birthday, can you sing him happy birthday? Oh my god. No, we got Pokemon to do here. Ain't no world that's a good lead. I mean, it could have been fine, I'm not gonna lie. We see rocks go up on the Greninja switch. These spikes go up and explosion comes out, which doesn't kill Gren, which is kind of funny. It's not my birthday. Yeah. Well, happy birthday to Money Guy. Alright, Gren gets a spike up. Coco comes into revenge, and Gren's just gonna go down here. Rocky Helmet Gren gonna put the Coco in Spike's range, which is super funny. Now Guard gets to come in on the Dragonite. Coco just gonna be sacked off. You don't really have a Hyper Voice switch in here, so it makes sense to use your sack fodder when you can. Now Serp gets a free switch in here, and Rotom looks like it's just gonna get sacked off here to the Leaf Storm. But it is Iapapa Berry, so it's gonna live one more attack, and a Leaf Storm actually lands a little bit to the right. Rotom gets a free Volt Switch instead. Now Salazzle gets to come in. We have leftovers, so probably gonna be Sub Protect Toxic, and the last move is going to be Fire Blast, as you see. What in the max defense, Gren? Yeah, something like that. Now we see a Toxic onto Keldeo trading for Salazzle's life. Now Rotom gets to come in, and it's a pretty free Volt Switch from this situation. You see Specs Keldeo doing so much damage, but Rotom does live to see another day, and Zygarde gets to come out, and this Keldeo going to be in range of E-Speed if we have it, but we don't have E-Speed, so we're just going to go for a Dragon Dance, and that is a very specially defensive Zygarde, because that's Specs Keldeo, remember. 49? I mean, that's kind of crazy, no? Now I'm going to go for a Devastating Drake on the Mew, which is Iapapa Berry as well. We go for the Ice Beam, knocks out the Zygarde, but at this point, Scarf Jirachi might be able to do it. Goes for a U-turn, okay, sacks off the Rotom Mow, which makes sense. You see Iapapa Berry, you think this Mew probably doesn't have Roost or anything. Seismic Toss is kind of crazy to click there, but yeah, now Hyper Voice going to claim the KO, and now Dragonite has to deal with a Scarf Jirachi and a Gardevoir. Knocks out the Gardevoir at 76 with E-Speed, so that's going to be Choice Banded. And Jirachi should be able to 2-hit KO with Ice Punch. Yep, there it is. And freezes for good measure. Not that that mattered. These Yoshis, stay bringing Citrus or Iapapa Mew, bro. Throw a Z Crystal on it, please. Look, man. I'm not gonna lie. Every endgame was me completely sweeping this guy with Assault Vest Mew. Like, it just kills everything. But, hey, Iapapa, same thing. I need your opinion. Is Hatsune Miku a clanker? I don't know, man. That's up to you. Sucks off the Rotom Mow, I see. Who is sucking off a Rotom Mow? Why would you say that in my chat? Okay, the series is now 4-3. Lux is Yoshi's, yes. And so now it's all down to this game 8. Saying a slur during stream. It can happen, man. What's up, Agency? How we doing? Alright, now we have Agent Flame versus Blitz. And this is for all the marbles. If Blitz wins this one, they're basically locked for playoffs. But if Agent Flame wins this one, not only are Ancient Tacticians in a bit of a bind, but the Yoshis are going to live another day. At least, you know, that's what we thought before the scandal of the Tera Mesprit. But hey, who's to say? I said that? I don't think I said that. It said sacks off the Rotom Mow. Okay, dude. I'm just being framed now. Alright, so the Tera types is going to be Ghost Mew. We see Dark Gliscor, and then Ghost on the Raging Bolt as well. Let's get into it. The H-Man. What's up, H? Okay, so Scarf Raging Bolt immediately brings Greninja down to 4%. Goes for a switcheroo, and that's going to... Okay, we're going to steal the Assault Vest from Aloe and give it a Sticky Barb, which, fair enough. And now we're going to fling the Assault Vest back onto the Aloe as we go down, which is kind of funny, I'm not going to lie. Obviously going to regen that all back. And now Gliscor gets a free entry point on the Raging Bolt. Can just go for whatever it wants. A Protect, I guess. Probably would have just clicked an attack there, to be honest, but All well. So Swords Dance is on the flip turn, and now Avocado gets to come in. Crack Pipe was hit during prep, clearly. Something like that, yeah. So Cursed Avocado gonna always check this Gliscor, no problem. But it does allow an Annihilate to go for a bulk up, and T-Spikes get set up by this Iron Moth in exchange for its life, as Earthquake does 100%. Now Jirachi comes in. It's actually Life Orb Jirachi here, if I remember correctly. Gets a drop into Defiant Annihilate, and that's going to go down to Earthquake. Alright, so Annihilate immediately claims 2, and it's going to go down to the Tera Blast, but low-key, could have saved that guy. I'm not even going to lie. You had a Gliscor to come in, but all good. Now Terap can come in, and honestly, when I saw this, I thought a spin was coming out, because this Raging Bolt is confirmed locked into Tera Blast. So if you have spin, you can get rid of the T-Spikes right now. But at the same time, if your Boots Terap and like your Mew doesn't care about being poisoned, there's no real reason to spin. So instead of Tera Starstorm comes out, does 40 to the Aloe. So that's a Spadef Aloe. Another Starstorm into the Raging Bolt. And now we're threatening a Volt Switch. But we get the nice switch into Gliscor. Gonna block that Volt Switch, and now it's a free Earthquake or a double to Klefki. Interesting. So it gets a Reflect Up as Curse comes out. Now, what does this Klefki have to hit Avocado? Does it have Flash Cannon? And it has Play Rough. So, I mean, I'm looking at this. It looks like the Terapagos is the only thing that really threatens this Avocado, really. Yeah, Curse Avocado is looking like a major threat once this Reflect goes down. Yeah, Play Rough is doing 5. So, yeah, Avalanche starts to come out. No Rocky Helmet on the oh, and it's Steel Beam. And we've been baited and outsmarted, and the Avalugg is dead. Oh my god. And the crowd goes wild. So much aura, literally. And then you're going to see this Klefki clicks Misty Terrain. So this is like the first time ever that we've seen this 4 moves on any Pokemon ever. That was crazy. It really was. I see Roaring Moon come in. With Reflect Up, you have to assume this has something for it, so Brick Break is going to come out. Yep. But Gliscor can come in pretty comfortably. Goes for an Earthquake, is going to 2-hit KO the Roaring Moon, but at +1 with Attack Booster, this knockoff's going to hurt. I mean, it's not going to kill. And Gliscor does knock it out. But now, I mean, Blitz is running out of tools. Raging Bolt comes in, but you can always protect to scout the lock. And between Terap, Gliscor, and Klefki, you always have an immunity for whatever Raging Bolt wants to click. So probably just going to see a Terapagos come in here. No reason not to. We know this is Scarf Bolt. We're going to see a double to Aloe, but does that actually gain you anything? I don't think it does. Because you can always just go back to Gliscor. And we don't even see a flip turn, so we're going to get full Poison Heal here. Another Protect on the Tera Blast. Probably just going to go back to the Terapagos. Again, there's no reason not to, especially now that Gliscor's healed up. You can double to Aloe all day long. Actually, Agent Flame, not going to mess around with anything like that. Just goes for the raw Earthquake, catches the Aloe double, and now it's just a pretty clear Protect into Swords Dance. Get your Poison Heal, and then Swords Dance should be just ending the game, I'm not going to lie. He's running out of tools and brain cells. Oh, come on. Surely not both, right? Man. The Bolt comes in. We're going to see Protect on Gliscor. Can it eat a +2 Earthquake? I would assume so. Alright, Dragon Pulse is 46. Earthquake, 71. The next one is going to knock it out. So you have a 1-turn window to crit this Dragon Pulse here. Now, will Raging Bolt get the crit? No, of course it will not. And it goes down to Earthquake, and then obviously Aloe cannot beat the Gliscor 1v1. It's just going to forfeit, and they have lost to the Yarn Yoshis. So Yoshi's taking their second series win of the tournament, and Ancient Tacticians, they're still, I mean, they're still 4th seed, but other teams are starting to close the gap. That was a series that was really winnable, and yeah, hate to see that. Alright, as we move on to the next series, now's a good time to remind you guys, if you're liking the stream, feel free to drop a like. That's what it's there for. Helps out the algorithm, gets more people to click on the stream, all that stuff. Would appreciate that. So, thank you. The Just Mirror does a good player clicking 5% play rough twice, not scream I'm conditioning you. Well, it kind of does look like I don't have another option, right? Especially if like you didn't really prep for Curse Avalug. Like you see it in the matchup, but you're like, I'll be fine, it's just an Avalug. Then you get in the game and it clicks Curse and you're like, oh wait a minute. I mean, I understand like not scouting the steel beam there. Like it was good conditioning. It's obvious in hindsight, right? Why is there a Monferno on my screen? Great question. Great question. Drops the like, bends over to find it. Guys, did Glop just drop the soap? Who's to say? Alright. Let's get into the second series, which is going to be Sablo versus Mayo. So this is going to be the Wishes versus the Foxes. Right, so Mayo's on Zero Fox Given, and Sablo is on Make-A-Wish. Felt that one in my soul, he should have scouted. But look, not everyone can be as good as the Great Glopper. Hey, Agency, he'll do what he wants to. You can't stop a guy. Alright, we do see a Monferno, we see a Roselia, all the Eviolite guys coming out to play. And yeah, so Gen 6, let's get right into the game. See Nidoqueen lead off into the Jirachi, kind of a dangerous lead for both of them. We see an immediate Iron Head, which is an insane play turn 1, by the way, but never punished, right? As we see a Rocks trade turn 2, and then a pretty simple U-turn into, I would assume Snorlax, but instead Torn comes out on the Roar, which roars out into Snorlax, so, I mean, close enough, right? Scizor going to be the answer to Snorlax, which is dangerous. Good carry, Fire Punch in this gen. Is this a double to Torn? Sure. And we actually switched Nidoqueen into the Torn that was trying to switch into Nidoqueen. This is interesting, right? You'd assume it's like AV Torn from the way Mayo's playing it. But Hurricane just knocks it out. So I saw this and I'm like, is this Specs Torn? I don't know. Could be. It would make sense into like a Manectric. You want to chip that thing down quickly. But now Manectric can come in, gets the Mega Evolution off, can go for a Volt Switch on the Snorlax, which takes Rocks as well. Now Keldeo comes in, and Keldeo gonna force in this Roselia, but honestly Mayo pretty happy with that, as Roselia can apply some Spikes pressure, but instead this Keldeo goes for a Sub. And you see Sub versus Roselia, or like any other like bulky grass type, and you think, okay, this Keldeo is probably gonna be pretty bulky, and a lot of times what Keldeo will do in this kind of matchup is it'll run like max HP, some Spadef with Calm Mind, so that Giga Drain doesn't break a Sub at +1. That's the role they would go for. And I've seen that versus Amoonguss to some like really great success. Roselia is actually slightly stronger than Amoonguss, but Keldeo could just be a little bit more bulky. But we'll see. We're gonna see a Calm Mind here for sure. And there it is. And can Roselia break the Sub? It actually has Energy Ball, which obviously is going to do more than 25. And yeah, so now they have to play this interesting game, right? Because Roselia, it could have Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, Toxic, all sorts of status moves they do want to sub versus, but if you sub on an Energy Ball, you're just giving up like a net 19% after leftovers for free. Goes for another Calm Mind, says, okay, you're just going to Energy Ball again. And we see even at +2, this Energy Ball is doing 27%, which is a little bit more than you'd like as Sablo. And now we go for a Sub, trying to scout out for like a Leech Seed or a Toxic, Stun Spore, whatever. But no, Mayo just content to click Energy Ball again. Now do we Calm Mind one more time? We do. And get that play correctly. Now Energy Ball is not breaking the Sub, but at this point our HP is pretty low. So we are going to get a Sub up, but we're only going to get rewarded with 2 attacks off on this Roselia. But it looks like that's going to be enough to knock it out. So the next Energy Ball does break the Sub, but Roselia is going to lose this 1v1 to Secret Sword. And now we're going to have to revenge a +3 Keldeo, which is going to be done by the Torn here. Now with Choice Specs, you would imagine Keldeo definitely still in range. And we don't really have a Flying Resist outside of Manectric, so just going to go Manectric, cover for that Hurricane. Air Slash comes out, just 39, which obviously is Specs, now that we know. I say wow, awesome, next slide please, because I actually timed this game, because after I watched it live I was like, that was a long game, how long did that take? And it looks like from the time the link was posted to the time the replay was done, or by the time the game was done, was like 45 minutes. So yeah, I mean, Sablo famous for playing slowly, but Mayo is definitely part of the problem as well. Alright, we see Scizor come in. Rocky Helmet Scizor on the Jirachi. I'm gonna put that thing basically in rocks plus helmet range the next time it comes in. Now Keldeo just gonna get sacked off to the Specs Torn Hurricane. Can't really switch into that guy. Now Manectric comes in, and it's gonna be another free Volt Switch here, it looks like, as Jirachi is sacked off. I actually go for Electro Ball, which would snipe the Snorlax coming in if it did want to switch to that. Now Lando comes in. We're going to see Togekiss pivot in on the U-turn. Now Torn gets another Hurricane, but Togekiss can live that, gets confused, and hits itself, which is kind of crazy. But immediate justice, Hurricane gonna miss the following turn as Togekiss gets a Tailwind off, which is interesting. Now Confusion ends, goes for a Dazzling Gleam, does a decent amount of chip to this Torn, but another Hurricane miss. Alright, so gonna get forced out there into the Snorlax, as Dazzling Gleam does a decent amount, but not quite a 2-hit KO. As we go for an Air Slash, does not get the flinch, so a rest up to full on this Snorlax, and now kind of stuck here going for Air Slashes, and Body Slam is going to knock it out. So what's going to revenge this Snorlax at 80%? It's going to be the Mew, it looks like. Mew is going to be Nasty Plot, okay. Body Slam comes out, do we get a Para? No Para, and it's Rocky Helmet Mew, which is really interesting. Like, why do you feel a need to be Rocky Helmet Mew? I guess it helps you 1v1 Snorlax and Jirachi, but I mean, surely there could have been a better item there. Either way, a Whirlwind comes out into the Manectric, which is a big deal because now it's in Rock's range. Can't check the Tornadus anymore. Goes for a Volt Switch into the Scizor. Okay, saves the Sack Fodder, which is important. But now Whirlwind comes out, and we actually don't save the Sack Fodder. So a really nice Whirlwind from Mayo, catches that perfectly. Now Scizor comes in, threatening a superpower as Monferno going to be the switch in, but just going to take this as an opportunity to roost up. And now Will-O-Wisp comes out and misses the Scizor as we get a slow U-turn into the Mew. Alright, fair enough. Now Psyshock comes out, Monferno takes a big hit in exchange for this U-turn. Rocky Helmet, with Rocks up, this thing is now in Bullet Punch range. So all of a sudden, blink and you'll miss it, right? Will-O-Wisp miss into Scizor, and now Monferno's at 8%. This Scizor, if it's Sword Stance last, because it's going to be Bullet Punch, if it's Sword Stance, that could just sweep this endgame. So Mayo definitely playing with fire here. Mew is actually going to go straight down to that Specs Hurricane. Now Scizor, I'm not sure if Bullet Punch kills from this range. I mean, we see Rocky Helmet. I assume this is a bulky Scizor, so I'm going to say Bullet Punch does not kill the Torn at 39. But Hurricane is not 100% accurate. And he misses Hurricane. Now, is this Scizor? It didn't Bullet Punch, so you have to assume an SD is coming. There it is. And now you look at the game state and it's like, oh, Mayo could lose this. Monferno gonna get sacked off to the Bullet Punch. There it is. And now Torn gonna come in trying to farm up some regen. Gonna double to the Snorlax just on the sack. Bullet Punch should just 2-hit KO this. There we go. Now can Torn live from 56? I don't think so. But he doesn't go for the regen sack. I mean, I get it, right? If you go for the regen sack Landorus and Scizor goes for a Swords Dance, I mean, even if you're able to regen up, it's still a 50-50, so goes for the stay in and goes down to the Bullet Punch. Does regen heal more than Rocks? Are you new to Pokemon? Yeah, it does 33% compared to Rocks 25. Why didn't Sablo SD on Snorlax? Well, probably just fearing Body Slam Para, right? But he could have, yeah, he could have. Yeah, Body Slam Para, exactly. I don't know what the damage roll on Torn is. Maybe, like, even regen wouldn't be enough. But yeah. So Sablo gonna end up sweeping this. Oh, wait, not over, but like, this is a physical Landorus, which was revealed by the U-turn chip earlier anyways, so he knew this already. And Bullet Punch going to 2-hit KO this, and that's going to be the game. So Sablo is starting off the series 1-0 for Make-A-Wish. Just answer for yourself. Why are you even paying me to be your lawyer? I don't think he's paying you very much. Why didn't he win the game like he did? Yeah. Alright, so now 1-0 for Wishes versus Foxes. And low-key, if Wishes win this series, they might still be in the playoffs race. Despite a pretty bad start to the season. You pay Glop plenty of pesos. I get it, man. Alright, now we have Jcurf versus C. Alright, so Jcurf on Wishes, C on the Foxes. Alright, Sword and Shield, let's get into the game. See Dragonite lead off into the Keldeo. Forces out the Keldeo under the threat of what? Hurricane? But an Earthquake comes out into the Nidoking, into Ice Punch to finish off the thing while covering switches to the flying types. And actually going to get punished by Rocky Helmet and Poison Point. So, I mean, I get it, but like, that's kind of funny. Now, Icy Wind misses the Grimmsnarl. Right, so a little bit unlucky, but that wasn't doing damage anyways. T-Wave out on the Torn, full para 1. But now we get a knockoff onto the Light Clay. And Spear Break comes out, crits the Torn, which it was already doing like 50. And now U-Turn comes out into Eldegoss, but it looks like to be a faster Swampert. Sure. A Dragonite gonna dodge a Leech Seed. Okay. There's a lot going on in this game. Ice Punch gonna get hit by Helmet, takes the Leech Seed, but now you're threatening a KO with the next Ice Punch. Now could go for an Earthquake here, trying to cover the switch, but no, just gonna Ice Punch into the Keldeo. El Bozo. Now Grimm comes into Revenge. Light Screen's still up, so Keldeo not very scary. Goes for a T-Wave, catches the Eldegoss on the switch, and now Steela can come in for free off the back of a full para. And now Air Slash comes out. We get a flinch. Alright. A little bit lucky. Who's to say, though? Now Torn gonna come in. Just doubles out to Metagross. Sure, fair enough. Now Rocks go up as Leech Seed comes out from the Celesteela. And now you can kind of click Air Slash and it's basically a forced KO, it feels like. But instead we Earthquake just out of respect. Love that for you. And we're again gonna get knocked because of it. In exchange for a Leech Seed, which doesn't feel worth it. But okay, the Celesteela is still hard to remove. But okay, C getting a lot of plays right here. Metagross in on the Air Slash with no Leech Seed up. And now Swampert's going to force to come in on the Thunder Punch. Okay, so a lot of plays being made. Now what? Rocks go up on the Eldegoss switch. We Ice Punch, which is going to do about half to Eldegoss on the Rapid Spin. And looks like we're just going to get Rocks up again, right? No, we Earthquake, catches the Keldeo switch. Okay, but no Rocks still. It might still be winnable for C. We see a Spec Surf do 58 to Starmie. Looks like no recover on the Starmie as well. Just goes for a Psyshock on the switch to Metagross. Though Starmie's dangerously low. Swampert going to be sacked off to Zen Headbutt, it looks like. Surely the Metagross is faster, right? We switch. We give up free Rocks. And we give up free Tornadoes? Wait, this Swampert just robbed the bank. To then just go back to Metagross and Zen again. Were we expecting Custap there? That's the only explanation, right? Okay, and then we pair a full pair of the Celesteela. This is a cursed game, guys. Thunder Punch again. Leech Seed does come out, okay. But without leftovers, the Steela not going to be healed nearly enough. Gets another full para. Now Dragon Dance D-Knight on the Leech Seed, so at least you break the multi-scale. But you assume this has a move for it. It already revealed Thunder Punch, yeah, right? Oh no, that was the first Thunder Punch. Grimm comes in, but Eldegoss can kind of come in there. Not really. Like, this is kind of a sack. It gets parried again. I guess we're not interested in Spirit Breaking for some reason. I don't know why. But Starmie gonna come in, goes for an Ice Beam, knocks out the Eldegoss. Okay, now Metagross comes in. You have to assume Bullet Punch if it's coming in like this. Never mind. It's just Spadef. Oh, I guess fair enough. Metagross Masterclass. Shout out Bep. Shout out Bep. Alright, we DD on a Toxic Metagross. but it's a Lumberry Mew, so able to shrug that off, get a free DD, and now +1 Earthquake gonna knock out the Metagross. Keldeo we know is Specs, Dragonite we know is Boots, dodges a triple Axle, goes for a D-Claw, but that's not even nearly E-Speed range. And so Dragonite gonna go down to the next Axle, and now Keldeo looks like it's in range of Earthquake, and that's gonna be the game. So Jcurf extends the lead to 2-0 after this performance. Pretty hacksy, but what can you do? It's Pokemon. Can't believe Jcurf is now on a win streak. It's a small one, but yeah, technically a win streak. Truly peak Swish game, I'd say. Yep, exactly. Alright, now we have VGC with K-Crick versus Reedin. So K-Crick is on Foxes, Reedin on Make-A-Wish. Let's get into it. Alright, Mousehold and an Annihilape versus Qianpao Okidoki. Alright, so classic combination here with the Mousehold Annihilape. We see an Icy Wind from Qianpao into no Defiant on the Annihilape. So there was probably some Intimidate that was benched here, right? Or no, it's Vital Spirit for the Amoonguss, maybe? Maybe. But either way, we're not Defiant. Either way, beat up into Rage Fist, you know what this combination does. Just going to one-shot that guy, and Mousehold does hang on at 1%, which is pretty crucial in that sequence. How many Team Tour games did he lose in a row again? It was 9 or 10. I don't know exactly which, but yeah. Definitely kind of crazy there. Okay, Mousehold goes for the Follow Me, draws the Ice Spinner, so Annihilape doesn't have to take that hit, but Dragonite gonna go for a Tera Dragon Scale Shot, and it looks like with loaded dice, it might be able to knock out the Annihilape. A crit here will go a long way. And with only 4 hits, it's going to knock that out. Now we see a +1 speed D-Knight next to a Qianpao. Pretty scary stuff. And Tera's exhausted. So it's probably a pretty simple scale shot into Raging Bolts, if I had to guess. We see a Ruination on the Tauros, though. Okay, we don't care about the Raging Bolt. But it's a Guaveberry Tauros, which is actually going to let it live a 5-hit Tera Dragon Scale Shot, even with Sword of Ruin, which is kind of crazy. Damn it, joined at the worst time. Hey, if you want a, if you don't want to watch VGC, you could check out the very beginning of the stream where I went over some controversy. And then when you're done watching that, VGC will probably be done. If you really want to take a peek at the Subway Surfers cheating in DCL, it's a whole drama thing. Oh my god, content. But yeah. E-Speed gonna finish off this Tauros. We see a Thunderclap onto the Qianpao, but not gonna knock it out. And Ice Spinner, yeah, obviously K-Crick has this one completely wrapped up. E-Speed gonna finish the job. So game 1 goes to K-Crick. Wouldn't it be crazy if Draco Lane slide to the left in another game? It would be pretty crazy, yeah. Alright, now Dondozo, Tatsugiri. So Reedin adjusting, going for the Dozo thing quite immediately. Usually you see Dozo leading with Annihilape, so you can at least threaten a final Gambit, or like demand some respect, and then you just swap Tatsugiri in that slot if you want to get the transform off, but you're just gonna lead off with it, not messing around with anything. And the immediate Haze Qianpao is kind of crazy, no? So he also uses Tera Stellar here immediately, which is an interesting choice. Now with Haze, Dragonite's Scale Shots are going to do a lot of damage. It's going to 2-hit KO the Dondozo pretty easily, but Ice Fang comes out and knocks out the Dragonite in one hit. It's Life Orb Stellar Dondozo, which is kind of crazy. Heatran comes in, goes for Tera Fairy. We see Qianpao switch out, which is interesting. I'm not really too sure why. Maybe you're preserving a Sash for the back, but either way, Earth Power is going to knock that out, and Amoonguss coming in actually gets the Spore on Tatsugiri immediately. So, you don't really have to worry about that thing, at least initially. Gonna get Encored into a Rage Powder, which is probably fine. Probably clicking that anyways the next few turns. Yeah, Tatsugiri stays asleep. Rage Fist gonna come out. Does a little bit of chip to Amoonguss, but Rocky Helmet gonna put it closer and closer to that Magma Storm range, and now another Rage Powder. This Annihilape is going to go down to the residual damage no matter what. So just goes for the attack on Amoonguss, goes down to the Rocky Helmet, and Yeah, Tatsugiri's staying asleep. Maybe Qianpao come in as a Raging Bolt. So it's a 2v2. Tatsugiri wakes up, gets rid of the Qianpao, and now it's Heatran 1v2. And it looks like Riden is able to pull this one out. I like the Tatsugiri is Choice Scarf, so it's faster than the Qianpao, which is very important in this endgame. Yeah, Heatran definitely not going to be able to take on both of these threats, especially with Earth Power not 2-hit KOing Raging Bolt. That's going to be wrapped up for Riden, and now it's 1-1 in the VGC set. And now we go to game 3. Alright, so obviously the Dozo didn't really work out how he wanted, but was able to claw back in the endgame anyways. So probably just going to start the Annihilate and Mouse. And you probably have that Raging Bolt in the back. Alright, Toro's going to switch in immediately, which is interesting. It's not Intimidate because you don't want to trigger Guard Dog, but Icy Wind into Gunk Shot from Tera Stellar Okie Dokie, going to knock that out. And now Qianpao does reveal Sash on the Drain Punch Annihilate. So now Raging Bolt comes in to pin the the Thunderclap on Qianpao, but instead Qianpao just switches out as Bolt doesn't even go for the Thunderclap. Instead going to go for an Electro Web, trying to slow everything down. Help support the Annihilate, which is going to click Bulk up here. So Qianpao switching out. Kind of crazy, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I get it, you're scared of Thunderclap. But now you're going to pay the price because all these Pokemon are threatening one-shots. And now with Qianpao, now we're going to go for the Thunderclap, but Qianpao doesn't really respect that. And now Dragonite, without the Tera, the Scale Shot is not going to do as much. Gets a lucky crit, which wouldn't matter if it was 5 hits, but would matter if it was 4 hits, it looks like. But now Mousehold can just Tera Fairy follow me. K-Craig actually calls that with an Iron Head, which is pretty cool, but it's not going to be enough. Gonna go down to the Raging Bolt. Yep, there we go. And now the Yoshis are up, what? 3-0? Yeah, Yoshis are up 3-0. Alright. 3-0 for the Wishes. Oh my god. And now what's up? Now we have Who versus Ryan on the other side. Whoop, didn't mean to click that quite yet. But yeah, Who using his a classic stall build. We're gonna see a Tera Ground Chi-Yu and a Tera Electric Alomomola. On the other side we see a Tera Flying Torn. Anytime you see Flying Torn, you should instantly be thinking like Specs, Scarf, something like that. And versus Who's team, Specs looks very, very threatening. So that's what I would expect. Alright. Who the hell is Ryan? It's spelled like with an I and stuff. And like a R-A-Y. Y? R-A-I-Y-A-N. Yeah. But anyways. There's a level 99 Corv because it's a Corv mirror that was benched. So this just guarantees the slower U-turns. I get it. But yeah, let's look into the game. Ogerpon leads off into the Clodsire, immediate Ivy Cudgel on the Gunk Shot, which is going to one-shot with Poison but doesn't get it. And now a Synthesis on the switch. Really nice play. Now Cyclosaur are going to have to U-turn and another Synthesis comes out. So Ogerpon just kind of got away with chipping down the Clodsire for free. Now Corviknight can come in on the Petch, so going to double the Cyclosaur. Put some offensive pressure out, but taunts instead. And now Ogerpon gets the free switch in. Acrobatics is kind of crazy, no? Which begs the question, why didn't we click that earlier? To kill the Ogerpon was at when I was at 50. Either way. Gonna switch to Torn, gets the Tera Flying, Bleak Wind off, and that is Specs for sure. Into, it looks like potentially an AV Alomomola, but it is Tera Electric. So it looks like Who was kind of anticipating this. Came prepared. Either way, Clodsire is going to come in on this Liquidation. That's going to be a 2-hit KO. Ice Beam comes out on the switch to Cyclozar, so making some good plays. And now what? Petrunt's going to come in on the Gunk Shot. Okay, All good things must come to an end. And now Corviknight can come in. It's taking rocks and probably a parting shot, yeah. Oh, but its clear amulet blocks the parting shot, allows for a free defog here. And there we go. The rocks are now off. But alright, who takes advantage of this by going into Chi-Yu? And it looks like we have Glop joining us right now. Yo, what's up, Glop?
Yo, what's good, guys?
Alright, let me get the screen share going for you. So you
appreciate it.
Alright.
Tap it.
It's good timing for you. My throat's starting to get a little bit tired because I've been kind of speeding through this because I started a bit late. I was out of town in the morning, had a big drive and all that. But I do need to be done by 7 PST at least.
All right, we'll keep it moving. So we got a Who Stallfest here. Is this so Rabush? Do we like who is this player, bro? Like I don't even know.
He goes by Ryan on the Smogon forums, but like spelled weird.
Oh, like R-A-I.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. All right. Got you.
Hey yo, my bad. Yep.
Nah, your chat's weird for that one. We're gonna ignore that.
It could happen.
Fucking freaks out there. Oh, you might want to get that one
Yeah,
banned ASAP.
might need to ban that guy. Okay.
Yeah, might want to get rid of that one right away. Whoopsies.
All right.
Cool, dude. Yeah, we love that. Thanks.
Is it just
actually insane work?
There you...
Hey, you're the streamer, bro. You're the one that's got to identify that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna keep it pushing.
Moving on.
Yeah. So, anyways, there I was dark pulsing with my Chi-Yu.
And that's an Assault Vest Talk specs for sure.
For show. Yep.
All right, gunk shots onto the Cyclozar. Goes for a U-turn, but this Pex, it looks like it will be getting some amount of value at least. Infestation on the Petch. Sure, why not?
Kind of a cute tech. I mean, at that point, like, what other moves are you going to run on AV Pex, right?
Yeah.
So, any chip goes a long way. Nightshade is a nice call, right? Because certain moves like Hex would be kind of like PP stalled by pressure with this interaction over and over again. And the consistent damage is good on Pex as well, right? Kind of like goes through the AV and gets a good chunk of meaningful damage. But we're now going to see Nasty Plot, which is interesting because I think at first it was kind of implied that this might have been a choice set, and that's just going to get the Oko.
Wow.
That's impressive damage. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to you. And we do have the AV Tera Electric Aloe to absorb these Specs Tera Flying Bleak Winds. It's a really nice prep from Who all around.
For sure, yeah. Definitely shows that you've ran the matchup, you've ran the mocks multiple times, and you know exactly what their strongest line of play is going to be. So, great choice on his end. Going to get into the flip turn here. Able to find a position now for Darkrai, which seems to be primed in a really good spot. Could throw off a status move, could go for a setup option. As we're going to see Sword Stance.
Sword Stance. That was not on my bingo card.
Yeah, who saw that coming, right? And some would say, especially after this turn, some would say that this is indeed a W Darkrai. I can't point fingers at who, but Knockoff here narrowly going to miss out on that KO.
So close.
But
I mean, it's a Pex, so
it's poo-poo damage, right? We're going to heal up with Drain Punch, and I mean, it looks like this thing is primed to sweep pretty much, right? You really only got to fear E-Speed.
It looks like E-Speed range, and so just going to pivot to Petch, save the sack fodder at least. I mean, it's not even sack fodder. It's still a useful useful mon. But here, because the AV has been knocked off, I mean, Torn is just that strong. It's still doing 44 with Bleak Wind. Hurricane would have been a 2-hit KO, but he just doesn't have the sauce like that. I get it. So Who never want to risk rolls. Just going to sack off the Claude. And good thing he didn't, right? Because the next one is a critical hit. We get a flip turn, but is that really worth it? You sacked a mon to get 30% on a regen mon, all things considered.
Yeah.
Probably not a winning trade.
Looks like it's a roll, but fortunately for Who is able to find that to a KO. Pretty meaningful here. Dragonite's going to come in. Pretty telegraph E-Speed, right? So Petch run.
Oh no, there's more people in my chat.
Yeah. You play the match. I'll comment. You do what you got to do. I got you, bro. So we are going to see a Dragon Dance now from the Dragonite. So Petra going to be underneath immense pressure. Shukaberry will allow it to live this first hit and get off a foul play, but going to be vulnerable here to the next Earthquake. And suddenly this game that was looking very dominant for Who is now looking a little bit shaky. We're going to see Cyclozar come out, will fall to that Earthquake, and wouldn't you know it, broken-ass Dragonite
does it again.
Has pulled a game out of its ass. Yep. Where have we seen this before?
We saw this versus this exact team before, I'm pretty sure, in the matchup against Finchinator.
It was the Dragon Dance Resto Chesto, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So great set there. I mean, obviously, like this is one of the weaknesses of this team that Who has, right? If you don't have a Scarf user, like Dragonite in particular, is just kind of like that one, because there's not really a lot of other mons that have the sort of toolkit and the like move pool that Dragonite does that could break through a stall team like this. It's really only Dragonite. So it's kind of like, honestly, it's kind of an unfortunate matchup because it feels like no matter how you shape this, like if you dedicate more of your resources to defending against a Dragonite like this, you're going to be super vulnerable to things like that Specs Tornadus or the Ogerpon Hearthflame. So it's really difficult to account for all those threats.
But yeah, and like, fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you. Fool me twice. I mean, we benched a Whimsicott and a Corviknight in the Dragonite matchup, so maybe he's asking for it a little bit, but also like it is just a fantastic mon in the matchup.
But like, let's say, so who benching the Whimsicott, right? What would you bench then? It would probably have to be the Darkrai.
I don't know,
no?
but like
it would have to be but then we wouldn't have W Darkrai, so like the viewers would be sad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Who is a man? He's a man of the people. He thinks about us and our entertainment first.
He is.
So.
He is.
Shout outs to him for sacking off that game.
So now what are we looking at? We're looking at 3-1, I think, in favor of the Wishes. Now we can move on to the next game. And it looks like someone's just spamming alts in my chat. Sure. Man. I mean, we'll just keep banning them. Whatever, man. Alright, so we have TDG versus Mind Gaming. Alright. So a Tera Iron Moth, Tera Fire. Which into this team, with the fire resist being, I guess, Tatsugiri and Samurott, probably going to be a pretty big threat.
Is there a bench Pincurchin on Mind Gaming's end? I feel like that
there
team
is.
has one.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
It's Pincurchin and what else is it? I don't know the 8th one, but yeah. And anyway, secondary Tera type is going to be Dragon on the Gliscor. On the other side, we see Tera Ground on the Iron Crown. And I believe this team... Oh, it's a Moth. It's Moth, of course. Okay, why are we actually being 10 years old in my chat? Can we stop? It's just annoying, man. Kind of messing up my flow here. But I know that's kind of what they're trying to go for, I guess. I should just ignore it. Whatever.
At a certain point, you should just ignore it. Or what we need to do is we need to get like another person in your Discord who can be a moderator who can just like have eyes on the thing, and just that way it's not distracting from you.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, if you make me a mod in the thing, I can literally just watch the chat while you pop off. I don't mind doing that. I'm serious. Sure. If you want to. You might have to take a minute, figure out how to do that, but I think that would probably be the best way to move forward. Simply because that way, like, obviously, this is your stream, man. Like, you're gonna be the one running the show, so I can just be here, chopping it up when I can, but I can also be watching over your chat and making sure people aren't, being 12 years old in the year of 2025. I mean, I get it, dude, right? Like, mommy and daddy don't give you enough attention, so you got to come to the King L5 stream to.
I get it, man.
Get your chortles and laughs, I suppose.
Let me see if I can set up some like auto thing.
Yeah, no, dude, take your time, and I'll be happy to do this. I will literally sit here for 4 hours and do this. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because okay, yep.
Yep, blocked words.
Give me a minute here. So is it put user in timeout or is it remove? Is it just remove?
Just remove. Timeout is like that's what we do to TSP when he's being a little bit silly in the chat.
Oh, my bad. Burger caught a stray there for no reason. My bad, bro. Sometimes my mouse double clicks. Actually, timeout actually might be the most effective method because it forces them to make another account and waste more of their time.
Yeah. Which
this time doesn't matter to me because like I got time to kill. I'm done with my work week, bro. I will sit here all fucking night. I mean, don't care.
yeah. We've had a pretty nice community, so I haven't had to do any like auto mod stuff so far. But hey, we're figuring it out live.
I had shit like this happen when I was streaming. I had shit like this happen like once or twice. But fortunately for me, like at the time, the person I was dating was my mod, and she was always in chat, so it was instantaneous. But
it should be somewhat good now. Hey, if you have no haters, you're not big enough.
For sure.
That's all it is. All right, we can get started here.
We appreciate the
TG
patience,
versus
guys,
Mind
yeah.
Gaming. Yep.
Take it away, bro.
All right, so Terap is going to lead off into the Samurott. So spinner into the Spiker, but there's a spin blocker in the back. Actually going to see a Rock Polish immediately as Season's Edge lands a little bit to the right. So free Rock Polish, and now Tera Starstorm is going to come out. Probably 2-hit KOs the Samurott. Definitely 2-hit KOs because this is Life Orb Terapagos. Wow. So just aimed at getting some good chip on the team, which it's going to get a KO immediately. And now Iron Valiant has to come in. Probably going to see a Vacuum Wave here, so going to scout for that. Goes to Gliscor, gets the Toxcorp activated for free. And now we're just going to sack our Terapagos scouting for the Ice Punch on like a mixed Valiant. And it's just going to be a Moonblast revealed. So Metagross going to come into Revenge Kill this. Takes a close combat like it's nothing. And we have to imagine it's just going to knock this out. But instead it's going to knock this off instead, which is definitely the less valuable way of going about it, because you're gonna have to take another close combat.
Probably an aggressive call, trying to call out like the Landorus with the Sinistra coming in. So I mean, I get it, but heavily punished by the Encore in the following turn.
Heavy Slam does more than enough to those guys, and it's not like Iron Crown is ever like a switch into Metagross. You don't need to knock it on the switch. If it comes in on a Heavy Slam, you can just knock again, you know?
Maybe in his perspective, right, knocking off like Sinistra or Landorus might open up for the Roaring Moon or the Conkeldurr respectively, so maybe that's what he's gunning for.
You have to imagine Heavy Slam does a similar thing. So
I mean, it does
might
meaningful
just be a
damage for
silly
sure. Maybe.
But either way, Gliscor's coming in on the Landers now. As rocks go up, we trade this for an Ice Fang, which, okay, that's physically defensive Lando for sure. Not even intimidated as 41. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, no? As rocks get traded, but Tatsugiri should be able to spin here. And TG looks like he expected a spin, goes for an Earthquake, but Surf instead is going to come out, really heavily chip the Gliscor. So this Iron Valiant looking like a major threat in the endgame, all things considered, right? Okay, Conk gonna come in, takes 43, but now forces out the Tatsugiri just out of respect and gets a defog off when it definitely shouldn't have. Like, another Surf probably was going to be the play there, but either way. Hex comes out, doesn't knock this out, so this Conkeldurr's kind of getting away with murder here. Gets the rocks off and gets Iron Moth in on a Strength Sap rather than an attack. Now Iron Moth in for free, goes for the Fire Blast, gonna knock out the Sinistra. I mean, where's the fire resist, right? It's just a Tatsugiri at 37. We're gonna sack off our Conk, that's all good. And now Roaring Moon gets to come in. If it's Scarf Tatsu, it's locked into Surf, so pretty free U-turn into the Rocky Helmet Landers. But now this is just another Iron Moth turn. And I'm gonna say, hey, I'd like my KO here. Fire Blast, as long as it connects.
I'm kind of shocked that there isn't like a Flamethrower. Like he's always going for a Fire Blast.
He's just,
Flamethrower would be killing everything, right?
He's just raw. He probably has Fire Blast overheat type of stuff. It was probably some rolls that he needed in prep. Anyways, Gliscor able to heal up a little bit into this Landorus, which reveals Rest, which is cool. So Landorus, I mean, it's gonna be full HP, but does that even matter? Like, it's still beat by Ice Fang Gliscor, and it's gonna allow Iron Moth in. And there's the overheat, but Iron Crown able to take that with the Tera ground, but at the same time, we've expended our Tera, and now Roaring Moon is looking pretty primed to sweep, or like it's very close to it. You knock off the Lander's helmet, you can stop taking that chip, and now as long as you keep Gliscor around, especially with it not being Choiced Moon, should be a pretty simple just Ice Fang every time with Gliscor, and then when you get Roaring Moon in, force a chip on Landorus, and then yeah, this Gliscor might just win on its own, to be honest, with the Tailwind. I was looking at it through like a Roaring Moon lens, but choice. Yeah,
I do like that choice to Tailwind first, because if he had elected to go for Ice Fang there and he missed the crown, that would actually be like giving
devastating
Mind Gaming a slight chance. Yeah. So Tailwind first is smart, because if Lando stays in, you don't care, and if he goes hard crown, now you have the accurate Earthquake, and even if he swaps, you're dead to rocks.
Yep.
So really smart sequence there from TDG.
Random Relic says, wasn't Gliscor at 5%? Yep, that's what Gliscor does.
L5, if you ever want to do an interesting like metagame call in draft, you should do a video titled "The Rise of Rest Landorus." Because I swear, because I have seen Rest Landorus at least 5 times and I've never seen it in DPL. Like, I can't recall any games where I've seen that. I've seen it in SV. We're seeing it in Swish this week, right? Like, I've been seeing way more people use rest on Lando specifically.
I haven't seen it myself, but I've also only really been watching Team Tour games recently. So if it's been popping up in like DGB or something,
no, I'm talking about specifically Team Tours. I'm talking about specifically this DCL.
What, like,
I have never seen so much rest. Yeah, this DCL.
I don't remember
like,
another rest.
Dude, Addy ran a rest one, then like week 2 or 3. Spoilers for this week, there's a different rest Landorus. We'll get into that, right? But like this one right here, I've seen at least 5 this Team Tour, bro. Trust me.
Kind of crazy. Anyways, TDG comes out with the win there. We can move on to the Oras game. Actually, no, this is Gen 7. I just say Oras because I saw chipboard here, but no, this is Sun and Moon. You heard rest Lando, so you're here. What's up, agency? All right.
Foreshadowing.
Whoa. It's a lot of shadowing. 4 of them? Alright, so Ryan Ditto using this like Mega Shark offense type thing, which is like, it's a new take on it, but like Coco Shark it's been done before to good success as well. Just skip, this is the worst game ever. It can't be the worst game ever. We have Ryan Ditto in the chat for the Ryan Ditto game. Surely that's good, right? You used Rest Lando back in 2016, was really ahead of my time.
Out as a pioneer of mere mortals. Yeah.
All right, let's look at the game though. So Coco leads off into the Kyurem. Oh, I remember.
Oh, this turn 1.
This turn 1. I remember
this turn 1 slams.
Kaboom.
No, yeah. Whole Nidoqueen in the back. No, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw this and I was like, yo, if I'm Professor Chipboard, like, I get it, man. Like,
I'm probably just like kicking my feet and like slamming the desk with my fist, you know, like, ah, crap.
It's like, how are you gonna be Twinkle Tackle versus a Nidoqueen? Like, surely that makes no sense. But then, like, you lead into a Kyurem Black, and it's just the perfect set for the situation. I
think the other thing too, right, is I feel like this specific like Coco Z move probably doesn't work in any other scenario besides the lead.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Right, so like you had to really know that's his lead. And like it doesn't make sense, so I'm gonna run this.
You have to know it's his lead, and he's planning on staying in on Coco.
Right.
So like, hey, all the power to you.
They know he's just a prophet, man.
He just knows what he knows. All right, you turn on the Nidoqueen. Does not fear Scarf at all because he just has his paste, I guess. Oh my god.
Yo, can we get some justice for title, please?
Justice for title. If it makes no sense, it makes perfect sense. Is that your motto? It feels like your motto.
Bro, this game is
maybe not my motto. Alright, so Rose goes down for a spike, and we get Slanderous the Landorus. Gonna double to Heatran on the switch to Torn, which is gonna get punished by a Specs Focus Fast.
Bro.
This game is so funny, dude. And now Coco comes in. We've a Nidoqueen in the back, so can you just go for a U-turn, which is fine, you know. Now Landers gets to come in, but now you're kind of scared of that Torn coming in, but gonna Earth Power anyways, as it's Endure. Definitely Cuss Tap, right? Here's the Cuss Tap, and we go into our Mesprit to burn that off. As Ice Punch comes out. Probably gonna use this as a chance to get our rocks up, if anything, right? No, we're gonna U-turn. Does that tell us that the Heatran was the rocker? I feel like that's what it says. Man.
Or he just really valued keeping up momentum, right? One of the two.
Maybe.
Because like Landorus, there's no switching really, right?
It is, yeah. Pretty good. Oh, imagine an agility there. That would go kind of hard. Or rock polish. Well, the Torn can probably eat, so never mind.
Don Mitz he could never imagine such a thing.
Okay, Icy Wind does 14. There's like, is this Specs Torn? Because Focus Blast killing Heatran from full after rocks makes me think it's Specs, but this Icy Wind doing 14?
Probably AV Mesprit, right?
AV Mesprit. For like the Kyurem Ice Beams, or what? Or
probably
for Nidoqueen? Like
probably Nidoqueen. Yeah, Nidoqueen. And,
maybe, yeah. That would make sense. Yeah. Loki lost my mind with that Focus Blast kill. Okay, just lie. Yeah, just lie. Why don't you? Okay, light screen's up though, so able to pivot to Torn.
Oh, there it is.
But light screen's up for the Landers side as well, so maybe this Icy Wind doesn't KO. Maybe you can just go for a Rock Slide to it.
And it's just
why is everything just dying in one?
To be fair, it's a really offensive Tauren. I think you need max HP and like 12 defense to avoid the KO or something.
That's
like
definitely
that.
not true because I've definitely EV'd Torns to live that after rocks. So from full, it feels
so we just got like hasty Tauren in the building. Is that what's going on? Like
maybe I don't know. It's probably just offensive Tauren, you know.
28.
Nice. And yeah, I have Papa Berry. Cool.
This game should be like a litmus test for like new players on how to like calc things because man, we're sitting here not knowing really what the fuck
struggling.
is going on.
I feel like though you got to know at least one of the sets if you want to calc anything in this game.
Right.
All right, now Landers comes in, but Trick Room's up, but Trick Room's not up anymore. Okay, light screen up as we just sacked to the Earth Power. Now Slowbro comes in. Can't go for another Trick Room here. And honestly, everything's looking pretty weak to this Slowbro. I'm not gonna lie. So we're going to sack off the Mesprit. I assume this is Protect Shark. I hope for Ryan and Ditto's sake this is Protect Shark to stall out some Trick Room turns, and it is.
Right, man, using the protection. Yep.
Yep, shout out. Now it looks like you can just sack Landorus, yeah. And then you get another Protect as the Trick Room goes down. Oh, we're gonna reset the Trick Room? Okay, Chipboard has found a sequence.
No, yeah, he was scouting for rest, that's why.
Was he not? Okay. No, resets the Trick Room on purpose, which, to be honest, pretty cool. Now Coco has to come in and take this hit. Can it take the hit? Of course it can. It's a Slowbro. Now you've all switched into Shark, and you have to imagine the Shark is slower than Mienshao. So you just Mega Evolve immediately, or just Destiny Bond staying regular form. Yeah, that'll do it. And the Mienshao is going to go down. Destiny Bond is actually a really smart play there, because if the Mienshao doesn't kill you, then you can, with a speed boost, you can just attack.
Now, I imagine this game for the players did not feel very fulfilling, but as a spectator, this was a game.
It was cinema, yeah, exactly. Central.
One of the games of time.
Yeah. All right, we got 2 more for this series, but yeah, this is another win from Make-A-Wish. So this is a 4-1, or is this 4-2? Oh, this is 5-1.
Oh, damn.
Right? I'm looking at this.
Yep.
Sablo, Jcurf, Reedin, that's 3. All right, Rabush was the win for ZFG. Then we got TDG 1, so that's 4. And then Ryan Ditto 1, that's 5. They won the week versus ZFG. Oh my god. Yeah, Undead, it's your team. Yep. Let's not ignore that you're part of the team, shall we?
Part of the problem.
Yeah, yeah. But who's to say? Speaking of which, why haven't DPL admins done award votings yet? See, we got to count all the votes individually, and it's a really laborious job. We hire interns to do this, and they're not really paid, so they kind of just do it at their own pace, which means they'll come out never. You know what I mean? Anyways, we got Avocado versus Genius X. All right, so Genius trying to hold on to an undefeated season, so even though his team's locked for playoffs, they obviously don't really care too much. At least I hope they don't care too much. I mean, we just got 5-1 by Make-A-Wish. But Genius at least is going to care about his own game for the undefeated record. So there is still something to play for here. We see a Tera Fairy Zarude. And then on the other side, we're going to see a Tera Ghost on the Crown and a Tera Electric on the Annihilate. So let's get started here.
I do want to say this draft that Zing has it's honestly really strong. Like, I've mocked against it a couple times throughout the the different weeks here, and it feels like it's probably one of the better SV drafts.
Which is interesting because this is their SV5 draft, which after the draft, like initial draft, it was looking like by far the worst draft in the entire tournament. But it looks like they've done some like magic over the mid-season break, made some transactions, and all of a sudden it's looking really kind of fire.
Indeed, some dark deals went down.
Some dark deals for sure.
Kind of like the Valiant
oh my God.
Raging Bolt incident that we shan't speak of.
So this is an electric Annihilate, but we're choosing not to go for it. Just take the raw Hurricane. which is certainly a choice of all time.
Bro. Is this Scarf Zapdos into Scarf Annihilate?
It's gotta be, right?
Because why else would you, right?
Yeah. I mean, Scarf Zapdos does make quite a lot of sense into something like a Booster Speed Crown, Meowscarada, Garchomp, even like a Superior, right? Basically, this whole team outspeeds Zapdos, so I actually get it from Genius.
Nice, dude. Just lose turn 1, yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of raw. But now, okay, so Avocado's Crown... Oh, what did he just click? He just clicked Bulldoze. Okay, at least the Volt Switch breaks the
makes
sub.
sense for AV specifically because, like, what other move are you gonna run, right?
It really doesn't get much.
Yeah, if they're not substitute, then at least you get the speed drop, and then that way your other threats can handle it. So I get it.
We've at least limited it to 2 Calm Minds and no sub, which means Zarude should be able to take this Tachyon Cutter barely. Citrus Berry, shout out J. Ricky, and Stomping Tantrum is not gonna KO. So, but now it's in range of Zapdos, which pivots in. Yo, a Psychic there would kind of be like game over, no?
Probably, but I think that he was thinking Abo didn't have the stones to make that play, which makes sense. But I think you have to Volt and Sack here, right? Like, that's the consistent route.
T-Bolt doesn't kill? Oh, I thought T-Bolt would kill.
No. Oh, hell no. Hell no, bro.
Oh, nah.
No, dude.
I guess AV Crown can check it from this point. Okay, we're switching to Aloe?
That's a really...
Whoa.
I mean, I get it, right? Because your crown is way more valuable, right? You want to preserve it for the Superior and for the Glamora. So honestly, really smart scout by Zing there.
I know. I feel like I probably wanted that Alomomola.
Really? I feel like the crown is more valuable, bro. Nah, look at the Glamora and the Superior. Those guys can be annoying. Like a Scarf Serp endgame could be kind of frustrating now that there's roots chipped and the Zapdos is low.
Yeah, I guess.
And that would just be an entry point for it anyways, so...
The Serp is not Tera, you're correct there. And we miss our Leaf Storm. We've seen a lot of missed Leaf Storms this week. And Tachyon crits, not quite enough to KO, but yeah, Dragon Tail gonna force this out, but that doesn't really do anything because we're forcing it into Zapdos, which is a pretty free Volt Switch. Not gonna go into Garchomp to block that, gonna go into Glamora. And it's Scarf Memento, so we just have 2 Suicide Mons here, just for the love of the game.
Could be a really slow Landorus, though. It is possible.
Could be, yeah.
Could just be fast Glamora, yeah. Oh, we're feeling cute. Nice. Are we going to talk about that turn? We're just feeling cute, like...
Again, not on my bingo card. A Charm Meowscarada.
Sure. This guy thinks he's Ogerpon Hearthflame. Come on, bro. We've seen this before.
Yeah. Okay, what did he just click? These are not real sets.
I mean, I guess when your only fire resist is like Glamora, and then of course you have the chance to burn Garchomp, I guess.
Okay, but is he predicting a Glamora that's already dead? Like...
No, I think he's predicting Chomp to come in because it gave him a chance to burn it.
Oh, you have Wisp. You could just Wisp it the next turn, no problem.
Yeah, but Wisp can miss.
Okay, cool.
Scorching Sands is guaranteed value, bro.
All right.
You just wouldn't get it, right? This is the undefeated player. Who are we to scrutinize
the
inner machinations of Zing's mind?
Yep. Alright, looks like we're going to trade ground type HP here with Chomp going down for some chip on the Landorus, but can... But 8% Superior do it? I've seen crazier things. If this is Scarf, I mean, maybe... But no.
Yeah, dude, Scarf Dragon Tail. Just make shit up.
I will. Hey, that's what we do on the stream. We make everything up.
Wait, I get it. Scarf Superior Dragon Tail for the Scarf Zarude Roar. Oh my god.
Oh my, he's too smart.
Wow, with the Glamora hazard support for phasing, I get it.
Took you a minute, but you arrived.
Gosh.
Oh my god, this game.
This is peak gaming.
this is really peak gaming. Guys, we're just gonna get into it. It's gonna be Tera Fairy Raging Bolt, and then on the other side,
that's your next metagame video is the rise of Toxapex in Scarlet and Violet.
Yes, and then on the other side, we've got Tera Ground Wake, and I believe this is Tera Steel Cress. Yeah, Undead, I have no idea what is wrong with this game. I guess we'll find out together as a chat. Alright, Lando leads off into the Cresselia, immediately forced out by the threat of Ice Beam. But Cresselia doesn't want to take a U-turn, goes Walking Wake instead. Whirlpools the Pex immediately as we get a Toxic, but you have to imagine Walking Wake is prepared for this possibility for Whirlpool. Goes for an Outrage, which... Okay, into a stockpile. Alright, dude. Just put the fries in the bag, because this is not 2-hit KOing.
Does
Makes me
Walking Wake
wonder.
what?
I don't think so.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, so this is kind of the best bet into like AV Pex.
To be fair though, like I think if he's not stockpile, that looks a little dicey, right?
Yeah, of course.
If he doesn't recover spam initially.
Which, like, I don't think he would.
Because who's gonna expect fucking Outrage, right?
Yeah. And that might be like a dragon thing as well on that Walking Wake, because that did a lot of damage.
It did.
Like, its attack stat is not that high.
It's really not.
Yeah. Okay. So we get Torkoal in on the Corviknight, which is a really nice play from Panda. Now the Sun's up for free. We get Rocks up as well, which is super nice, but Lando's just going to trade the Rocks in exchange for a Fire Blast from, it looks like, offensive Torkoal, maybe? Earth Power is 84. Do we see Rocky Helmet on the Landorus? We do, so the Rocks stay up. Very crucially there. So Panda not only loses Sun, but the Rocks are up. Now Roaring Moon comes in, Revenge kills this Landorus. Just knock off, no problem here. Just gonna sack. Now Raging Bolt is Tera Fairy, and to be honest, not really very many good switch-ins available, so looks like we're just gonna see a Walking Wake sack to the Terra Blast, but a Calm Mind comes out instead. So is this Thunderclap? You have to assume so, right? I mean, either way, Liquidation is doing negative damage. Oh, it's sub. That's gonna be a real problem for Panda. Now you have +1 booster special attack behind the sub with leftovers. Yeah, so this Cresselia is forced to Terra immediately, go for a Calm Mind to match the Spadef. But Raging Bolt's just going to set up alongside this. So can this Crest 1v1 this?
Definitely a losing battle for Bolt, right? Because of the fact of Psyshock.
Psyshock and like the possibility of Terra Blast Steel, right? Both of them able to 1v1 this. Oh, it's a Roar. That's crazy, no?
That should just be game over, right?
Potentially,
like,
yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
So this Roaring Moon comes in.
You know, knowing how this game ends, I'm now wondering how the game
how does it end like that? Yeah.
Yeah. I got to see this play out in real time.
Yeah, so Raging Bolt takes the KO as, you know, the sub is broken. Now we see Lilligant come in, Petal Blizzard for 45 as it goes down to a Terra Blast. And now we see, this is a 2v5. Gouging Fire comes in, gonna go for a Raging Fury, which is gonna knock out the Raging Bolt from 46. Right, fair enough. Now Ogerpon can come in, but it's actually Scarf Gouging Fire, so it's gonna get a little bit of chip off before it goes down to the Ivy Cudgel. And now you have Terra Steel Cresselia versus the World. But low-key, the World might lose, unless this is like Iron Defense Corviknight with Body Press. I don't see a great way of breaking this Cresselia. Like, Pex is obviously never getting through Terra Steel. Ogerpon probably walled. I don't see a big reason to be low kick in this matchup. Corviknight, I mean, if it's not Body Press, which versus Moon is a real possibility, but Darkrai
I think
also,
if you're undead,
it's Calm Minded
the
on.
fastest way you could expedite this would be to have knockoff on Darkrai, and then get Corviknight in, U-turn on a Calm Mind turn, and then you would need to like Encore with Ogerpon and just cudgel down repeatedly. Is how I would think you'd have to.
Yeah,
But
I think so.
I don't think he has knock on Darkrai though, which like that literally is a difference maker here because Crest is able to offset the damage from Cudgel too easily with lefties.
Yeah, and look at this Psyshock here. This Psyshock is actually going to be pretty important, I think, because this allows this Ogerpon to Encore it, first off, but now it's able to just Synthesis on this. Wait, we don't Synthesis, we go Darkrai on the Psyshock. Okay, that makes sense. And Nasty Plot up, okay. So how does Cresselia come out of this one? Dark Pulse does 42. Wait, 42? Excuse me. Maybe should have just got +6 immediately. Because now Terra Blast comes out.
Right.
Does 47, but Darkrai goes down and Cresselia's at 30. Can we kill it at 30?
I mean, at this point, your out is pressure Corviknight.
Yeah. But here's what I'm thinking, right? Panda could just get +6 right now because we know it's Encore Ogerpon, but like you only have 8 Encores, and lefties is going to be more than enough recovery, I think.
To sustain against the cudgel, exactly. Yep.
But here instead we're going to Psyshock, waste all of our moves into pressure, which is going to come back to bite us, I think. Like that's 4 Psyshocks down just those 2 turns. And now we're going to get Encored for even more Psyshocks, right? Actually, no, you can't Encore yet. Because it would just die. Here, gets a Calm Mind off. So Panda's kind of playing like he's scared of getting Encored into Calm Mind, but I think at this point, you just have to bite the bullet, right? There's no way around it. You have to get +6 and then stall out Roosts on the Corviknight. But if you're using up your Terra Blast and Psyshocks like this, at like low boosts, you're not going to be able to stall out these Roosts. He has way too many of them.
My concern, though, is even if he had expedited this and gone for the Calm Minds earlier and gotten to +6 more soon, I don't know, because look how little PP the moves have. Like, I feel like Corviknight still would Roost all it. I mean, maybe, you know, Psyshock and everything would be doing closer to like 40%.
And that's enough, right? Because there's only 8 Roosts.
Yeah.
And you have versus pressure, there's 8 Psyshocks and 8 Terra Blasts.
So that's definitely an oversight.
You only need 2 attacks to one-shot Ogerpon and Toxapex.
Well, really, you just need to keep Psyshock PP, realistically.
Yeah,
you can burn all your Terra Blasts on the Corviknight. Right. So, yeah, you probably should have just CM'd up sooner. This would have been, I think, a very different game. I would even argue there are routes where he wins this.
I think he should win this. That's what I'm saying. But now you have no attacks. Only Calm Mind, you just struggle. But if we look back... Hold on.
Yeah, like, there were so many turns where... And you're exactly right. Like, him getting Encored, I don't think is an instant loss because, like what is the Ogerpon going to be, right? It's Cudgel, Encore, Synthesis. What do you think the last move is?
It could be Play Rough here for the Wake and the Roaring Moon and the Lilligant, right? Kind of covers a lot here.
We can agree that if it was knockoff, it would have gone for that far sooner.
Yes, it probably would have done it like turn 2.
And if it was SD, at any point Encore would have been clicked on a status move, and it would have gotten a +6. So it has to be some attacking move that doesn't do meaningful damage into Cresselia.
It could
so
be
as you were saying,
either dual stab or it's Play Rough, I think.
Right. So just like you said, yeah, if you had just Calm Minded the +6 sooner, at that point it doesn't matter that you're Encored into it because number one, if you burn all the Encores on Calm Mind, that doesn't really matter because the Cudgel's just never doing enough with the leftovers offsetting the damage.
Yeah, it's a Cresselia after all, you know? But I'm looking at this, like, you have so many Psyshocks. Like, what if we just Calm Minded in front of the Ogerpon, right?
I actually, he should have won this, dude.
Yeah. And then you look at...
Because, like, you just trade all your Terra Blast for Roosts.
See, +1 did 11. So you expand that to +6.
I think the Terra Blast does more because...
It does, yeah. It's
this Corviknight is Fizdef, yeah. But if you skip forward a bit, I think when he was at 2.5, the Terra Blast was doing like...
22.
Right. So +4 is probably doing like 40?
39 about, yeah.
Yeah. So you just waste all your Terra Blast on this thing, which makes it lose about, we'll say, 5 or 6 Roosts.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, and then Psyshock, as long as you have, just all you need is 2 remaining at the end of the exchange. You need 1 for Ogerpon, because at +6, it'll kill it even if it heals. And it probably Oko's Toxapex at +6, I would think.
All right, so if we assume everything's about 40% damage from the +6 Terra Blast, you're doing a total of 320% to Corviknight.
Yep.
So that's 7 Roosts.
Offset that, that's 6. Yeah, 7 Roosts, right.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to burn about like 4 Psyshocks more to get through it, approximately.
Yeah. 4 or 5, and then you're gonna have so that's 10 PP away from Psyshock. You're still gonna have 6 to get through Ogerpon and the Toxapex, which is way more than enough. So
I think that chat, quick maths. This is why you pay attention in school.
We're doing so much math here. On stream too, that's dangerous. People might think we're stupid if we get it wrong. Yeah. True. So yeah, basically Panda choked on dicks.
Pretty much.
But it's okay because they won the series anyways. Yahoo! Alright, we can move on to the next series, which is going to be Subway Surfers, the cheating team. Losers, LOL. Versus Alliance. And this is kind of like an interesting one because they're both in very similar spots when it comes to playoffs, right? Going into the week.
What? I haven't seen any of these games in this series, I think, so I'm kind of excited.
I've seen some of them, but not all of them. But yeah, so they're both like 1 win, 2 losses, or 2 ties or something, and like a loss, something like that. They're like tied in points basically. So whoever wins this series is kind of going to be the one knocking on playoffs doors. So it's a really important series for both of them. Kind of interesting.
So I'd lead matchup here.
Yeah, if anyone's interested in how the surfers are cheaters and frauds, like the thumbnail and title suggests, I went over it in like the first 3 or 4 minutes of the stream. If you want to rewind to that while we go over the VGC games, that would be a great time to do that.
So if I'm Hydra here and I'm looking at this matchup, I'm going to be thinking about Pangoro, obviously very important tool, really strong breaker, good knockoff user, get rid of items, you know, stop healing, passive things like that, remove boots, etc. This is just speculation, right? Nasty Plot Rotom could be really strong in this composition. The only thing that stops it would be the unaware Clefable, which is just an entry point for your Nidoking to do a lot of damage, which is nice.
Yep.
I would think maybe some kind of a stall breaker Mew, like a knock taunt set, could be really effective into this comp. Probably just Seismic Toss is your last, honestly, because that's always going to, at the very worst, it's going to offset the regen from Torn. And when you get rid of its boots, if rocks are up, then you're actually forcing progress that way. On Theo's end, it's like, I think your end game is probably Reuniclus, because the minute you get rid of Pangoro, you can kind of just Calm Mind up and nothing can stop you unless they're taunt, right?
Yeah, it could be Taunt Mew, it could be Taunt Cinderace, but even then, like, they have to take some big chip while going for the taunt if Theo gets the play correct.
So maybe your play is like, or maybe your plan is to bait a status or get a status on the Pangoro and then just play the long game and preserve Reuniclus. Because that really does look like it just walls everything, honestly.
Stabs Megahorn Nido, literally 6-0s his team on preview. Yeah, kind of. The main downside of that kind of set is like Torn is a pretty easy pivot, and once you knock off the Life Orb, this guy's actually not very strong at all. So you kind of have to play around the Torn pretty smart, but yeah, Megahorn is pretty major coverage into the Psychic types.
Well, and like Rotom could do, I don't know, like maybe like a Resto Chesto set versus this kind of comp, because like nothing really threatens immediate damage on it.
I don't really like Rest Chesto on the basis that it's probably going to get knocked off by the Torn, unless you're using Corviknight as the switch.
But low key, even if you get knocked, like what kills you while you're asleep?
The Buzzwole, the Reuniclus.
Okay, so you burn a turn and then you swap. I'm just saying, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things you can switch into and just like.
There are, yeah. It's reasonable, yeah. Let's get into it though. All right, Mew leads off into the Scizor. Lead Mew always can be something crazy. But actually people lead Mew a lot into Theo's teams over the years. That's something I've noticed. And he's always prepared in Scarf Mew matchup, or in Mew matchups with a Scarf Scizor. Like that's the most reliable Mew check on his like stall builds usually. So
until you bring Scarf Mew.
Yeah. If anyone wants to beat Theo, just bring a Scarf Mew and immediately slam the Scizor with Fire Blast turn 1. Like I'm not joking, it will work. Yeah. But now Scizor pivots right back in. Goes for another U-turn, I suspect. Now Corviknight comes in. This is probably just defog opportunity.
Nidoking is looking really dangerous now. Torn's already knocked off. Rocks are up. This looks great for it.
Well, the rocks are going away right now, right?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Just defog. Now Reuniclus comes in and reveals to be Assault Vest from that damage. So looks like he was having some trouble with Nasty Plot Rotom and like Nidoking in Mox. So that's his response.
Got to be Banded Pangoro, right?
Yeah, a big knockoff, but now you reveal what it's locked into. You can just pivot to Buzzwole. Hydra makes a good double into Rotom. Gonna get rewarded with some Volt Switch on Clefable into the Nidoking. This is kind of how we said this was supposed to work, but now we're gonna double Pangoro expecting the Reuniclus, but we're gonna get tricked! Oh no!
Oh, yeah, that's kind of game losing, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
That was, yeah, I get it though. I actually get it. It did not work out. Theo sees through that one at least. And now we have to go for a very sad Scarf parting shot into the Clefable. And now Hydra, that probably just made him depressed, unfortunately. Okay, that looks like Choice Banded Cinderace, though. Into the Slowking, that U-turn did a lot. And I get Pangoro in. I mean, it's not fully regenable, at least.
Yeah, but this thing's damage output is just doo-doo now. I'm wondering if this thing is Aerial Ace last move on Pangoro.
It's probably close combat, right?
Actually, I didn't even see Parting Shot. I missed that because I was looking at its move pool in the builder.
It might be CC to hit Scizor. Or like Fire Punch, but...
That doesn't feel... Why would you... Like, when are you Parting Shotting? I don't get that one, personally, because...
I don't know. Like, you're supposed to double into your Pangoro, not switch out.
You want him on the field, and you want to blow shit up. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's like... I don't know. Maybe it's a way to, like, a Parting Shot into Reuniclus, and then you Encore it with Mew or something? I don't know. It does feel weird for sure.
Does not compute.
I mean, just knock it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I can't explain that one then. The Close Combat doing actually a decent chunk to this Corviknight. Actually, this is a dangerous roost there, but gets it off. Now a U-turn comes out on the Slowking, just farming up some regen, make sure it's at full HP. Now Pangoro's in, but Clefable is going to come in on the knockoff, correctly calls no Gunk Shot, and at the same time gets rid of the Choice Band, which means these rocks are going up for free. Right, as T-Spike gets traded, which might be hard to defog at this point. So we'll see.
I'm just saying, if that Rotom was Nasty Plot right now, sheesh.
Low key, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Parting Shot is the move to click for Buzzwole in, but I feel like at that point you're better off just knocking it the first time and then
having Aerial Ace,
yeah. Yeah.
Like certainly there's another move that's better. Yeah, Brave Bird on the Torn, he's really pressuring this defog, can't really get it off right now.
I want to say this Corv has some attack investment.
Yeah, that looked like a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which, to be fair, he doesn't really have a flying resist, right? So.
Yeah, it's fair enough. All right, Mew comes in on the Future Sight as Torn comes in, really trying to get that defog off. But instead we're going to knock off this Mew in range of the Future Sight. But at the same time, Torn is at 22 now. And Rotom can come in. It's a free Volt Switch with double hazard up. This is kind of what you want as Hydra. I mean, it sucks that the Mew had to die for it, but...
Regen Reuniclus. Interesting.
Yeah, regen. This is AV. Makes sense. But now we're going to double into Nidoking on the switch to Buzzwole, which is fine. But
Very
like
smart.
the Buzzwole's boots...
Yep. Oh, nice. Fire Week to Fire Week. How did that work, bro?
Yeah, how did that work?
Why did that work?
You wanted to hit Reuniclus as strong as possible, quite clearly,
No, you needed the flamethrower there, because Reuniclus is going to take rocks and poison anyways. So after flamethrower, like, all you have to do is you make that flamethrower happen. If Reuniclus comes out, you just switch out, and you make the sequence happen again, and you're fine.
Yeah.
It can't do it, that many times in a row. Oh, that's a huge misplay, unfortunately.
And we're going to get our Life Orb knocked because of it. And now Nidoking, it's not going to be doing that much damage. Something like a Slowking can probably come in on it now quite easily. And the Slowking's boots as well. Classic Theo. Alright, going to U-turn on that, get a little bit of chip into our Rotom as the Future Sight comes out. And this Future Sight is pretty annoying. Now we're going to... Bolt into Corviknight, probably planning on U-turning into this Pangoro to absorb the Future Sight. Slowking doesn't want to stay in here, so...
I mean, Brave Bird does look like a KO if it's clicked here. Yeah.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I didn't notice that.
And you can absorb the Future Sight.
Yeah, good play. Now Buzzwole comes in. This is close combat range, so we're going to sack off Rotom instead.
I mean, I feel like...
I would have maybe preferred to use the HP on Nidoking there.
If you're faster than it, I mean, if it's not offensive,
it should be.
It did 50 to Corby though, right?
But this Corviknight attack invest is not fully Fizdef or anything.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know if Buzz lives at, or if Nidoking lives at. It's probably a roll not in Nidoking's favor, if I had to guess.
A close combat from 43 definitely lives that.
Yeah, but then I guess you're maybe limited to only 1 or 2 more entry points for Nidoking at that point.
And this is big. Corviknight goes down to a Psychic on the switch.
Psychic. Yeah.
Man. We're losing pieces quickly. But the Pangoro is still a threat. The Cinderace is still a threat.
Is it? We got kind of Buzzwole just, and now you lose one to CC, bro.
Hey, it's not Boots anymore. Let's go.
Booyah!
Yeah,
and we're just dead.
Yeah.
This is unfortunate because it feels like I think Hydra had the right pieces for this.
Okay, I kind of like this though. Cinderace comes in, and then the next time it comes in, it's going to be in Blaze range, but we actually just can't switch into a Scald anymore.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't Blaze, I think Theo would recognize that, simply swap out Slowking, sack off something, come back in, right? And it kind of screams on Cinderace when you see no boots, it kind of screams like, hey, I'm Choice Band or something.
Yeah, especially into a fat team like this. Choice Band does look pretty good.
Right. So, like, I feel like the team that lost, or the turn that lost Hydra this game was not flamethrowing the Buzzwole. Because, like, the Buzzwole is never staying in when you're full health Nidoking. And, like, it doesn't matter if Uniclus comes in, because the Flamethrower does more than Regenerator when you combine it with the Poison and the Rocks. So as long as you can continue to find that sequence, long term, you do win the exchange, and you preserve health on your Nidoking, rather than letting it get knocked off and now it's not able to, you know, finish the job in the end.
Yeah, it's definitely like much more obvious in hindsight. Whereas like when you're in the game, it's pretty easy to just see the AV Runiclus and be like, yeah, that's probably coming in right now, and like just want to Sludge Wave for maximum damage. But yeah, Theo finds the smart play into Scizor, catches that, and kind of wins because of that.
You say that, but I feel like Flamethrower is so, there's no drawback, bro. There's no,
maybe the drawback is going Slowking, so you're trying to cover for both of the psychic types.
If that was your reasoning, I can understand that. And I mean, at that point, then you just got soul read by Theo, which is like, to be fair, the onus is definitely more on Theo to make plays. So,
like, the Scizor
kudos
is
to him
risky,
for recognizing that. Yeah,
but it's a risk that paid off here.
Whether it's a
misplay or not, who's to say? But
maybe it is a little bit of hindsight. Maybe I'm being too harsh on him.
Yeah, like there's also some stuff like the Pangoro probably should not be getting tricked by the Clefable.
It probably should be Aerial Ace. I don't know. Glapper lets a fucking Flamethrower fly there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, it could happen. All right. I'm actually only here for another hour and a bit with mostly 2 series to go, so we might have to stop early and do the rest later, unless we go super fast, which I don't know if I really want to go super fast. Maybe
would it be later today, or would it be tomorrow, or what would it be?
Maybe let me check my schedule real quick.
I'm around all day tomorrow and Thursday, so I could pretty much make whatever happen.
I could do tomorrow in the like morning to early afternoon.
Like EST time, you mean?
Like PST.
So what time would that be for me?
Maybe like 2 o'clock your time, somewhere around there, give or take like an hour or two.
Yeah, that works.
Right.
So you want to just continue at a regular pace, and then we'll just wrap up whatever wasn't covered?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Or maybe just save the last series?
Yeah, we'll probably save our series for a separate video.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, so game 2. Game 1, of course, goes to the Subway Surfers from HJKHJ, Theodore Manny. And now we have Aberforth on the side of the Subway Surfers versus Jimmy G for the Mythical Alliance. Now again, this series is really important for both of these teams. So they really want to make playoffs, and losing this series is basically a death sentence for either one of them. Alright, Gen 6, let's get into it. Uxie versus Landorus lead. Should probably just be a Rocks trade, all things considered, as we see a Trick Room Uxie instead, which is definitely interesting. And it looks like the Uxie is faster than Landorus. So this is like a fast Trick Room Uxie designed to get Trick Room and then U-turn momentum. Maybe it's Rocks Rhyperior, but it still could be Rocks Uxie. Although you would expect that turn 1 if it was going to come out.
I would expect Rhyperior to be some kind of offensive shit, right? If you're going to set up a Trick Room turn 1, like...
But like, are you ever really playing Oras without Rocks? Maybe Rocks Bisharp? I don't know. It feels... Maybe Spadef Rocks Bisharp for the Lottie. I can kind of see it in the Sceptile and the Exploud. Well, we'll see. We'll see. And we just missed a Sleep Powder. Nice. And are we dead? And we're not dead. This is not Specs Exploud. And we miss another Sleep Powder. So actually, we are dead. Shout out.
And we're just dead.
Love Vileplume. Yeah, and people be like, ban sleep, ban sleep, ban sleep. Yeah, dude. All right. I have not seen this game.
Wait. So, I'm so confused. The Uxie outsped Landorus, undersped it in Trick Room, but it's slower here? Am I missing something? Or does that check out?
No, that checks out. It just means that the Uxie is faster than Landorus, and this is not Scarf Exploud. So maybe it's like Assault Vest?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because it's not specs, obviously, right? So my next thought was Scarf, right?
Could be like Silk Scarf, Expert Belt, maybe for like flamethrowers on the steels.
Yeah, I can see.
And
Silk
like maybe
Scarf.
Surf for Rhyperior.
AV does help, I guess, into like
The Thunderous. And
Bro,
Thunderous
why
is
does
kind
Jimmy
of a
have
big threat.
Why does Jimmy have like 6 PUs? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, this team does not have. It does not pass the aura check. Like, where's the round
what
one
is
pick?
Yeah. Where's the mega? I'm so
curious.
confused.
Let's find out. So Jimmy benched Garchomp and Blastoise, which definitely checks out.
Benching a Garchomp.
Yep. Love that for you.
Alrighty then.
Well, Uxie goes down to a crit, which is awesome. Love that. And now we see Thunders come in. Is this AV? We get to find out now. No, it's not AV. So I guess we'll never know the item. Alright, Scizor's the Scizor comes in. Very creative nickname. Love that.
Poetic in fact,
yeah. Alright, Mega versus Mega. We get some Bullet Punch chip on the obvious HP fire. It looks like Jimmy is just cooked, right? Bisharp comes in. This could have a fighting move. No, just gonna HP fire instead.
I believe in Sharpman.
Alright, well, it's at 23%. Do you still believe?
It's
what are
dwindling.
these nicknames, by the way? Scissors, Sharpman, Zeus. How old are we?
This is like I'm 13-year-olds and loaded up Showdown for the first time.
Literally.
Nickname. Yeah.
And everything's Life Orb too. Okay, that's
kind of
aura
though.
Yeah.
That's kind of aura though. Yeah.
I mean, HOs like this definitely are prone to looking very bad when they don't get the turns right. And I mean, we missed.
Hopium. Yep.
Wait. Pause.
SD. Okay. We're in this.
Can I get an agility and mono Stone Edge?
Can I get a Stone Edge crit? Oh my god!
Wait. Surely not, right? Oh yeah. We're cooked. But imagine like a Rock Polish mono Stone Edge. Like there's no resist here.
I was thinking. Imagine it fucking lives the CC and then it's
Tera resist. Oh yeah. That would.
And then it crits Lando. Yeah.
Wait, that would be insane plot armor though.
Wow, dude, Richard Rhyperior almost hit a lick there. Goddamn.
You mean Robot Boxer?
Sorry, Robot Boxer. Sorry. Common misconception.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, these like HO teams definitely can look a little bit awful when things don't go their way, especially like missing 2 sleep powders and getting crit on your Uxie. Definitely doesn't help, right? But it feels like you were getting cooked no matter what.
But at the same time, I feel like if you hard load up HO like this, that basically is like admitting, I don't think this matchup can be won through traditional,
it's like,
balance play and shit.
Yeah, especially if you're benching Garchomp just to like throw shit at the wall,
Which, did I have a fairy? I see, like, what was stopping Scarf Outrage? I'm like,
there's a Granbull that was mentioned and a Registeel, so that would do it.
Oh, I get it, because Granbull is immune to dragon type attacks and Landorus is immune to ground type attacks.
Yes.
Oh, so Garchomp is bad. Oh my god, Jimmy is too smart.
Something like that, yeah.
Nah, somebody fucking trolled him. Why did you bench Garchomp, bro?
So that's gonna.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's gonna be 2-0 for the Surfers.
We have resident cheater versus MC.
Yep. This is the guy that teared his Mesprit when it was not a Terramon. Gosh.
Nice, dude.
Yeah. Speaking of Terramons, what do we have here? We got grass on the Hydrapple and poison on the Palisand. Fair enough. All right, and then
before the people come for you, I believe Stories goes by she.
Oh, my bad.
Just looking out for you, bro.
All right. So Ogerpon is water, and looks like that's it on the other side. All right. And let's keep these sides consistent if we can. All right, this is correct. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. We want cheaters on the other side.
Yeah. We do not associate.
No.
All right. Ogerpon gonna go immediately for the Tera, scouting out like a Sludge Wave or something like that from being super effective, U-turn. But Gren is just gonna be lead spikes, and actually MC gonna take 1 layer in exchange for giving up all 3 on the other side. I don't know if that was worth it. Right, 2 spikes from a lead
There's
Gren.
no removal. Yeah.
It's bad enough, but then getting 3 spikes? with 5 grounded Pokemon, really does not feel worth it. Especially to get up a spike against, you know, I don't know. Maybe you want to spike up for some random rolls, but again, allowing 3 is definitely whack.
You could spike in front of Palossand, right? Or maybe like a Valiant you force out. All right.
Or even like Petch, right? And we just dodge Leaf Storm. Okay, it's Boots Muck. So maybe if you're Boots spam, you can justify it. Maybe. All right, we knock off the
Your screen share died for me, by the way.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
My bad. Let me get that going. All right, we're so back.
We're so back. All right.
Anyways. Is that my internet? No, stream's still good. Excellent connection, it says. Huh. Don't mind if I do. Alright, Crook comes in on the Palossand. We're probably just going to see a Rocks trade here. Rocks go up. Maybe the Rocks are on Uxie, but no. It is Rocks Crook. Scorching Sands, but it's not Scald, so it's never going to burn. And it looks like this Palossand is just going to wall out this Crocodile low-key. Okay, crit's that one, but even with the crit, it doesn't look like the next one's in range. Oh, Taunt. That'll do it. Wait, that was a crazy Scorching Sands.
No, that was a crazy Scorching. That was just hard calling Taunt. That was hard calling Taunt for sure, yeah.
Nice play. I mean, it's basically a trade of the ground types because this Crook is at 3%. We knock off the... Okay, that's Choice Banded knockoff. Tokyo's Muck? Oh my god. So probably just go to your own Valley. Uxie? Okay, it's Culverberry. That makes a little bit of sense.
Probably T-Wave coming out. Or Psychic.
No, just a Psychic.
Nice.
Manibus comes in. We nasty plot into Draining Kiss on this. Foul play, do we see weakness policy? No, actually it was already Culverberry, huh? I'm stupid.
Yeah, just make up items, bro. Nice.
Oh, that crit actually sucks.
That's a nasty crit.
Because you were kind of recovering the same amount. Yeah, that actually just won. It did.
Yeah.
And there's a parting shot on the switch. Gets Manibus in. Goes for a foul play, but that's not doing anything. Especially at -1, right? Goes for a knockoff, gets rid of the the heavy duty boots, procs weak armor, and goes for a haze. We don't want a fast Manibus out here on the streets. I get it. We have Toxic on our Muck. Oh, Pain Split is diabolical.
That's
you live.
Good, yeah. Now you can fish for poison with P-Jab, right? Yep.
Yeah. Gets it immediately, like a boss. and now
you just what? You just haze and Pain Split till death, basically?
Yeah.
Yep.
Force this Manibus be all the way down at 44% now.
Smart of stories to recognize that your best play is just a foul play at that point because you're never getting any higher than that.
Yep. And Valiant comes in to claim. We see Hydrapple come in. Taking hazards, it makes me think this is probably Assault Vest. Able to live the Moonblast, so... Gonna switch to Iron Crown, which is also Boots. Which makes sense why you're allowing so many hazards up. You just have literally 4 Boots. Right, 4 Boots?
Dragon Tail, maybe? Yep.
Yeah, the Valiant is it actually tricked Boots, so call it 4 Boots. Right now,
how do you kill this? Does U-turn kill this?
It should, from 32. Yeah, definitely.
I guess you can Calm Mind up with Crown in front of the Petulant. You should live Shadow Ball. It's Scarf?
Oh, Scarf, but you live. Well, it was tricked to Scarf by the Valiant.
Oh, okay. And then living is crazy there.
Yeah.
So I think Tack just puts it in range of U-turn. What a narrow game. Wow.
Yeah.
This was a good one.
It was pretty nice. Our Val had CC there. I don't know why it wasn't clicked versus Apple. I don't know, you tell me.
Heavy cudgel.
A guy like you loses the game.
Nah, surely it kills a 20, right? Come on.
You would think. You would think. Yeah. But yeah, that was a crazy one. It is also a really nice custom avatar, I agree. It's probably from some ADV thing, if I'm being honest. It seems like an ADV thing. Alright. And now, this is like 2-1 for the series. We have Lejon versus II, which is like...
I didn't even know Lejon was drafted.
Right?
I'm gonna be so real with you. Is this his first game?
No. I remember he played a game and I predicted him versus Jelbell in Fantasy because I thought his matchup was completely unlosable. And then he proceeded to prove me very wrong and got completely packed up. Like, it wasn't even close. But now he has to play II in II's home gen, which is Gen 7. With a Zygarde, Necrozma, these are like signature II Mons. Alright, so let's get into the game. The Victini lead into the Tentacruel, which is like, okay, sure. Okay, Sash Tentacruel into Final Gambit. T-Spikes going up is crazy.
And it's just over.
Wait, those T-Spikes are gonna win. Never mind, there's a defog.
Okay.
Now, I did not see this game before.
Neither have I.
Yeah, so this will be fun. Tentacruel just gonna be sacked off to the Garchomp. Get a little bit of information. The Garchomp has EQ. Who would have thunk that? Alright, a nice double to Diancie on the Keldeo, but we want to scout for Scarf here by switching into Necrozma. And I assume this is just Rocks Up. Yep, Rocks Up. Kartana comes in, but I feel like that's a dangerous play because if this Necrozma is Rocks, it could be Fizz-Def Heat Wave for sure. So
I guess Banded Defog?
It might be.
That Exeter did a lot.
It's Life Orb. It's Life Orb.
Okay, there we go.
That makes a little bit more sense then.
I was gonna say, it did far too much to be not
no item, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not put in a fantasy this week. Alright, so Tangrowth reveals Rocky Helmet and HP Fire on the switch to Garchomp. Garchomp coming in here, probably just going to get Rocks Up or something. No, it's actually not Rocks. Goes for a sub on the switch to Diancie, and now Fire... Oh, that was a great Fire Blast. Catches the Tangrowth on the switch, and then Earthquake on the Necrozma switch? Wait.
Ooh. He's kind of getting played right now.
Like a fiddle,
Is it Edge Last? Edge Last, maybe?
There's a Z move. There's probably a Dragon, yeah, for the Zygarde.
Yeah, that checks out. Wow, this is a great position for Lejon.
Yeah. Oh,
and he's faster.
Yeah. Yeah, of course he's faster.
Hey, man.
It's not Trick Room Garchomp.
we see Trick Room Garchomp before.
We have. You're right. Alright, allows a Thunderous to Agility. Goes for the Z move. Probably, okay, Z Focus Blast.
Does that kill?
Yeah, that's gonna kill the Mega Mech.
Dude, Gen 7 is such a Looney Tunes format.
Right. Why do people say this is the best gen? I don't get it.
Alright, Calm Mind does keep him in the game here, at least, right?
Wait, Calm Mind into Aya Papa Berry would be kind of tough here, no?
I'm thinking, right?
Calm Minds again? Can this Necrozma kill the Uxie? Goes for another Yawn? It's knockoff.
I'm just so confused now.
Oh no.
Like, the game went from looking so good to looking so ass out of nowhere.
It's still looking pretty good for,
I mean, Kartana kind of just owns, right?
Kartana kills everything except Diancie. But Diancie just clicks Moonblast and kills something. Please click Moonblast. There we go. Garchomp goes down, but it's Scarf Keldeo. And the Zygarde's the only thing stopping it at this point. Yo, Zygarde gets burned. Oh, the Aya Papa Berry. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's over.
Okay, so you're knockoff Stealth Rock. You're probably not going to be Heat Wave on this set.
Probably just Photon.
Yeah, probably Photon and a recovery move.
Because Photon probably still does like 50 to cart, right?
Probably. If it's special. We'll see. The Scald comes out again.
Well, it would be
Photon.
Yeah.
Doesn't kill Keldeo. So our Zygarde's going to be forced to either E-Speed or take the Scald. Alright.
And it's just all over.
And it looks like Diancie should be able to pack this one up with an HP Fire.
No, my boy Zygarde's packing
Zygarde has an HP Fire as well.
Booyah.
Yep, there we go. And II wins the game. Dude, what a crazy game. That Garchomp went crazy.
It did, and I'm really shocked that this game wasn't converted into a win. Like, I feel like if he had just scouted the Z, I guess the worry is, what if he nasty plots? That's why I hate Gen 7, bro. Why should there be this many fucking mind games over one turn? Goofy ass tier.
Just play Switch like a real man.
Exactly. Thank you. My sentiments exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, it's Tornadus Tinglu Dragonite version 3.0. Nice.
Literally.
Real creative, guys. Yeah.
Yep. He's playing against Odin, who has this like Sun kind of team.
Sun bullshit.
Yeah, Sun with a Cinderace, which has been like slightly popping up a little bit here and in DFL. Or is it DFL or is it no? It's OLR. which is like the Wi-Fi tour.
The concept of this team makes sense because you alleviate removal off of Tusk, so you can actually do like rapid spin bulk up shit with it.
Like actually good Tusk sets.
Or like, yeah, actually good sets, or just
like
choice
AV with the booster attack from Sun. Always a great set.
Yep. I would say, I mean, what's the Torn Tera? Water?
Yeah, makes sense into Wake and Cinderace and all that.
Man, the Lilligant looks pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
All you really need to do is get rid of that Goldango, and I mean, you're just chilling, right? No, you're Ghost Tera on it. Can't you just Tera Blast it?
You are Ghost Tera.
Yeah, that
I don't
Lilligant
think
can
that...
just, like Victory Dance, Ghost, Ice, Fighting, blows up everything.
I wonder what the Wake is planning to do then. It's Terra Electric, which will hit the water types, the Torn and the Tentacruel. So it's kind of like whichever one gets a good opportunity first, I feel like, is the one that's getting Terra'd. You probably go into this... I could Terra either one. Depends on how the game goes. Alright.
Something tells me it's going to be a Lilligant, though. Let's see.
We'll see, yeah. Torn leads off. Probably just going to Terra Water immediately. You want your Water Resist for Wake. The raw Bleakwind is kind of interesting. I would have expected a knockoff turn 1, but instead we're going to knock off turn 2. Trade knockoffs here, and it's Assault Vest for Assault Vest. Alright, fair enough. And it looks like, yeah, the Wake is just going to Draco, which is like pretty reasonable damage as well.
Probably flip out here.
Probably flip out on the Ting-Lu. Oh, knockoff on the Ting-Lu. That's also pretty good. Gets rid of the Rocky Helmet. Going to be really good for your Lilligant and your Tusk and all that.
Hard Ace is kind of weird, but I get it.
I don't.
And we're just dead.
I don't. The thing
I
with
guess
this
you didn't
structure,
want your Tusk taking damage.
Yeah, the thing with the structure is it's so weak to ground types. Like, abominably weak. And then you're like, you go to like your Fairy and Steel type is also weak to ground. It's like, okay, you can run Balloon Tinkaton, but to what end, right? The ground types are always going to be huge threats. And Ting-Lu, even now, like, can go for a Ruination.
You know, I'm sensing the Ting-Lu is going to 1v1 the Great Tusk.
Oh, it's a Rest Lu?
Rest? Wow. It's the Blim set, okay. I mean, if it rolls the right things, it does 1v1. Which is just insane.
Gets a Ruination.
Yeah, if you pull Earthquake here.
Please pull an Earthquake. That would be funny. Oh, oh my god.
Bro.
That's not okay, right? And you save the sack as well. You just go Tentacruel on the Ninetales. Makes a lot of sense.
It's gotta be AV Cruel, right?
I mean, a Psyshock is going to get around that, and we're just lying again.
I'm just lying. God, I can't stop it. It's chronic.
It really is. Another Psyshock comes out. As this time we're going to get a slow flip turn. Was that T-Spike worth it? I think maybe, to be honest. The Lilligant unlikely to be boots here.
Well, you need to pressure that Lilligant.
And that's like a big threat.
Yeah, it kind of just deefs.
Alright, Torn farms some regen on the Tinkaton switch. Goes for Heat Wave. Gets some nice chip on the Ninetales with that T-Spike. Now a U-turn, you can just go into Tentacruel, sack it off, Ting-Lu, sack it off. Either one, it does not matter. Here's a Healing Wish into Walking Wake, which is going to get poisoned. I have to imagine we're just sacking our Ting-Lu here.
Hydro Stream looking good now, right?
It is.
Tentacruel's low. Yeah.
But you have a full HP Torn, which I guess we're just going to U-turn and sack our Cruel? Kind of trying to bait out the Tera.
Gonna get one. Bait out the Draco. No, baiting out the Draco for sure.
Yeah, either one, yeah. Makes sense. Now the Torn can come in and just go for a Bleakwind, even if it misses, right? Not really punished. Like Dragonite forced in by Detail, but you can just go back to Torn. Nothing is really lost here.
I guess Odin, you should have doubled a ticket on the turn before. It's pretty obvious he's going back to Torn, no?
Maybe. I mean, you get the free switch anyways on a Heat Wave miss, so just call it the same thing.
So just be bad. Yeah, okay.
Lucky and bad is way better than good.
Are there no rocks on this thing?
Looks like it.
What? Play rough twice. I don't understand that.
Heatwave doing 37. Is that AV Tinkaton? Surely that doesn't make any sense, right?
No, that's like a Spadef Tinkaton versus like a no special attack Torn. That damage makes sense. Tink is really Spadefy, so it's like I feel like it's not offensive Tink.
That's for Odin to know and for us to never find out. Wait a minute, it's Lumberry.
Nice. Yeah.
Goes for a Tera Ghost. Yeah, if Bleak Wind doesn't connect here,
Well, even if
we
it
go
does,
for a
you're
U-turn.
fine. No, even if it connects, you're fine.
Yeah. We go
'Cause you can't be
Dragonite,
E-speeded.
but Dragonite is not going to check this thing. You have triple axle.
Nope.
You're hoping for a dodge?
See ya.
And we get it! Oh no!
Oh, okay. So that's how he loses.
Oh.
Didn't this just win? Oh, no.
Oh yeah, it's Sash
Oh,
Gold
okay.
Dango.
All right. So, man, those rocks. Can we talk about it? Like, this shit would have won, bro.
Yeah.
What? I'm just so confused. I don't know why.
And that's going to be the game.
Man. Reality is often disappointing.
I get it. I get it so much. Yeah. I mean, these teams, they are just weak to ground types, and then Ting Lu pulls up with Fizdef, Rest Talk, 1v1's your Great Tusk with close combat.
1v1 Great Tusk is fucking insane. That can't be offensively invested Great Tusk.
Surely
I
not,
refuse
right?
to believe. Yeah, I refuse to believe Adamant CC can't get like a 2-shot on Ting Lu.
Yeah, that's just disgusting. But
Wow.
hey, shout out. And
Oh
now
my
we
God,
have Dougal versus Hacker.
We just
Oh
have
my
like two of the
God.
greatest to ever do it. What the fuck?
Yup.
This is a slobber notcher of a match here. Wow.
A Schlobberknocker.
Yeah, a slobber knocker of a match.
Yep. Alright, Dougal's using Broken Tera Urshifu. Yep. And then on the other side we see Tera Fairy Bolt. Alright. But like looking at this team, it is just 6-0'd by Urshifu like really hard, right? You have 5 Mons potentially slower, and like most of them die to Surging Strikes at +2. It looks like the only real like revenge kill is maybe like a Scarf Bolt, which we do see in Urshifu matchups from time to time. But
Seems like
Scarf
Hacker
Bolt
might need
into
to-
like Tankaton plus Garchomp plus even like the Ogrepon like feels pretty weak.
I feel like Hacker needs to switch teams here. Otherwise, you know, that's the only way he could make a wish to get out of this situation.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's not on Make-A-Wish.
Well, I guess he's fucked.
Right.
Dougal Masterclass incoming. Let's see it.
Yeah. Me with a season on the line. Let's see it. Stealth Rock into a slower Raging Bolt, so we know it's not Scarf. That's 1 check down to the Urshifu. Like, potential check. And then we just switch Urshifu hard on Corviknight, which is insane, by the way.
Nah, that's aura as fuck. You
Yeah,
wouldn't get
on
it.
the Reflect. So now I have to imagine this is going to be a Tera and a Swords Dance, maybe? Or just go for a Surging Strike on the potential U-turn Corv.
I think Pad's Surging Strikes has no downside here, right?
Yeah, Pads or Punching Glove. I think Punching Glove is just better.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Thank you.
So get some chip on the Raging Bolt, which is pretty nice. Now Tinkaton in on the Volt Switch. Fair enough. Now Lando comes in to trade the rocks, but its own tempo Tinkaton, which in this kind of matchup does kind of indicate it's probably going to be Ice Hammer for this Landorus, and probably speed creeping the Landorus as well. So we might see that come out, but Reflect is up, so maybe it's not worth the trade. And Dougal does not think it's worth the trade. So we're going to go Garchomp, get that Rocky, or not Rocky Helmet, but Rough Skin chip. It's actually leftovers Garchomp, which is pretty rare. You don't see that
no, it's
very
just
often.
hacks.
Yeah, just hacks, it's fine. Free Spike. And now a Dragon Tail. You got your 2 layers up, you may as well just start getting some chip. But it is Boots Deoxys. Gonna force this out with the threat of Ice Beam.
Spam. There's 3 Boots guys already.
Yeah. And a Nasty Plot on the Switch is kind of nasty, no? Tinkaton comes in. Focus Blast, though. Not gonna connect. Just hacks the poor guy, why don't you? Knocks off the Boots, but, like, got another chance to hit. And
we're just hacking the #1 draft player. Awesome. Yeah, and the crowd goes mild after that one.
the crowd goes mild, yeah. Alright, dude. Samrock comes in. You could potentially just go to your Garchomp here, get some rough skin damage, potentially just match the layers. I mean, if you're matching max layers for max layers, I feel like that's definitely favoring Dougal. I mean, you can also just go Mana Buzz as a defensive pivot. It's weak armor, which I'm not sure how big of a fan I am in this matchup. It feels like you're just weakening yourself to like Lando and Samurott over time, but
I think the idea is you could come in on like a Scarf Samurott and then be faster than it and then U-turn.
or maybe it's like you can come in and then like you're not revenge killed by an Ice Beam Deoxys or something. I don't know.
Or you could like taunt a setup Dio or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's Dougal's genius idea, not ours.
Well, he's in the chat. We could just ask him.
Probably
Why are
not,
you weak
right?
armor? The streets must know. Alright, Lando goes for an Earthquake. We're going to see a switch to Manos, but a double to Raging Bolt is actually going to be pretty important here. But a Draco into Tinkaton is going to immediately erase that progress. Nice, dude.
And Dougal is just dancing all over the number 1 draft player. This is crazy.
It's good for Ogerpon. So the Ogerpon that's not here. You're prepping for a benched Mon? Stupid.
Nice, dude.
Look at this idiot. Alright, it's screens everywhere. Shout out to SV. Alright, Lando comes in. Probably gonna imagine this Garchomp is just gonna get sacked off. But I guess you could go Mana Buzz. May as well save the sack. But no, we're just gonna get our rough skin. That's fine.
L5. You know who would save SV?
Who's that?
Mr. Rhyme.
Oh,
With the
screen
screen cleaner?
Yeah.
Bro.
They need to get
Where
that
is
to more
Tera?
Mons, I'm not gonna lie.
Think about it. You could Tera him. He gets spin. He beats Great Tusk with Tera Ghost, and he's got screen cleaner. Dude, that guy would be God in SV.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, disagree.
No, I totally agree with everything you're saying. Yup. Okay, our Urshifu is slower than Samurott, but Surging Strikes is going to knock it out in return. So we've taken Chip on our Urshifu, and there's no Healing Wish on this team. So, looks like Hacker might be able to 1v1 this thing. Threatening a Thunderclap here. Just goes for a Thunderbolt instead. Knocks out the Tinkaton. And now Ogerpon comes in. It's a pretty free Ivy Cudgel at this point. Raging Bolt, not going to want to take that. And now, that's looking like a very fat Ogerpon, probably packing Synthesis, as it often does in Raging Bolt matchups. I'm going to see a Corviknight sack on the Ivy Cudgel, so no Synthesis there is quite interesting. I wonder why we didn't Synth. Either way, Lando comes in. Now we're going to go to our Mandibuzz, get that weak armor procced. And now Raging Bolt's in. These boots are putting an OT for the Raging Bolt. It's come in so many times on these hazards. And Mandibuzz is going to go down. Hold up, we might be weakening ourselves a little bit too much into the Landorus. If this is Scarf, that Scarf EQ is looking pretty dangerous. But I guess you have Aqua Jet, right?
Watch it be Scarf Darkrai. Yep. We thought of everything.
He's just
God,
too good.
He's so intelligent and talented. God,
Yeah.
Dougal. Just teach me your
And
ways,
handsome, don't forget.
But can we talk about why'd you call the Ogerpon fat, bro? Like, can we talk about that? Or are we just
me?
gonna glance over that? Yeah, you called it fat. I can understand calling it defensive, but do we just have to objectify it based on its weight?
Well, think about it,
And
right?
just thinks about it.
So if I call the Ogerpon defensive, that's 3 syllables. If I call
Right.
it fat, 1 syllable.
Yeah,
Efficient.
Yeah, it's 1 syllable, but it's offensive. And offensive is 2 syllables. So net, it's the same amount of syllables.
I think I get it, because Ogerpon is always female, and you can't call a woman fat. Like, be real.
Exactly.
Oh, that's my
That's
bad.
what I'm saying, bro.
That's my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It'll happen again.
Yeah. You need to make an SV match and reflect. Oh my god, you see what I did there?
I get it.
Yeah, probably just shoot me. Next game.
That was nice. Who's really saving effort here? I mean, it's all for the content, right? What can I say? And now we have Harris versus Kyle. In this game, this Ogerpon looking very slim, looking very sexy.
Whoa,
Don't clip that.
Hey, I didn't say all that. Wait, I didn't say all that. Hold on.
What?
You said slim and sexy. Hold on.
Well, I can't say fat, so I'm trying a different angle here.
Normally, I'm called the gooner of the Mons community. All right, bro.
Well, what can I say? Are we getting a video on AIM versus V? This is of utmost importance. I believe I will be able to make it live. So I'm crossing my fingers. Unless they change the time or whatever, we should have a stream of that. That's gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Beautiful. Yup. You already know. Right, who's on which team? I think Harris is on the Surfers, right? Or is he?
Yes.
Yeah. And Kyle's on the Mystical Alliance.
Kyle's Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alright, Terramon's here. We got Tera Electric or Shifu Rapid. A Tera Fire on the Screamtail, which we've seen before. And on the other side, we see Tera Water Bolts. Alright. Let's look into the game. Urshifu gonna lead into the Raging Bolt, probably just gonna rip the Tera immediately, never mind. Not at all scared of a Thunderclap, I guess. Just goes for a Volt Switch on the Screamtail switch. Pull up the Cinderace is going to Wisp the Garchomp, which is really a great turn for Kyle. And now a U-turn comes out. Is this Rocky Helmet? Not Rocky Helmet in the Cinderace matchup, which is honestly pretty rare. You usually do see Rocky Helmet. Gonna trade rocks for some spikes. The Landorus reveals to be faster than the Garchomp. This is like a max Garchomp or something. Like, very physically defensive.
Well, that was kind of a crazy switch, was it not? I feel like Draco was kind of free in front of that Landorus.
Maybe like a Dragon Tail, but
dude,
yeah, for sure.
Draco there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was...
Well, he's probably just expecting an Earthquake to come out, which is why we go Corviknight, which I guess just happens to cover the Latias, which he clearly was not expecting. And the Latias is slower than Corviknight, so this is a Scarf Corviknight. Love to see that. As Screamtail absorbs the T-Wave and Latias just goes all the way back up to full. Wish in the air, but I think we just don't care. I see what I did there? An Encore comes out. And Screamtail back up to full. And spikes are starting to go up.
Pokéraptor Legend?
Might be. Okay, Chomp his Boots. That makes a little bit more sense. And it's going to go right back to full with that Wish. Probably just going to layer up a little bit more as we're trading layers. So clearly not a court change Cinderace if we're packing spikes Overquill. And yeah, Boots Raging Bolt makes a lot of sense. Boots Screamtail. I feel like this is going to be like 11 Boots because...
I don't know about you, Alphi, but I would have just kept switching between Garchomp and Screamtail infinitely and just PP stalled. But
oh yeah,
maybe that's just me.
Keep going. I'm almost there. Oh, the Roar, nice. And we're just gonna go back to Screamtail on the Dragon Pulse, back out to full, and nobody's really doing anything here.
Yeah, this is the most whatever ball Raging Bolt I've ever seen.
Yeah. Come on. Okay, Psychic Noise into the Cinderace. A little bit of progress has been made. I can just go to the Garchomp, kind of absorb this U-turn. Get a little bit of not Rocky Helmet, but Rough Skin Chip. I keep wanting to say Rocky Helmet because Garchomp is just always Rocky Helmet in my mind. But hey. And back to Screamtail. This time a double to Cobalion, which is not Boots, but it is looking kind of offensively threatening here. Corviknight's going to come in, but Swords Dance, this is going to break through the Corviknight pretty easily. And we go for a Scarf Defog, which is a choice. Yeah.
What else are you gonna do? You can't really save from anybody else.
Probably would have preferred just a Brave Bird there to get some chip, but also like then the hazards are up for
layers up. Yeah, and your Ogerpon. Yeah. Bit
of a rock and a hard place, some say. But Landorus able to come in on this Ivy Cudgel. It's actually bulky Scarf Landorus. And Harris was not expecting that at all. Goes for a Swords Dance, and now where's the ground resist? It was the Corviknight all along. And now
Urshifu. It's unfortunate that Slim Ogerpon just couldn't take the Earthquake as well as we wanted it to. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if it was a fat Ogerpon.
We wouldn't be in this scenario.
You know, thousands of years ago.
All right, that's just game, bro. I've seen enough.
Yeah, and then Darkrai's Parad, just wrap
Cobalion
it up.
Looks amazing here now. Okay, yeah.
Okay, it looked a little bit more amazing when it was like 80-something% rather than 31, but
I mean, you're still gonna net one here, right?
Okay, yeah.
I guess that's justice.
Cool.
No, that's definitely justice.
Yeah. Now, Ogerpon in for an Ivy Cudgel KO. Makes sense, but now you can just go back to Landorus and Earthquake. Gonna nab another KO. This time it's gonna be the Darkrai. We just don't want an Earthquake. Out of respect. I get it.
Yeah. Out of love for Volturn.
We don't want to deal with like an Urshifu revenge kill, but then we just find our way into the Cinderace, which means we're gonna have to deal with it anyways. So that was awesome. Love that. Now the Raging Bolt comes in. It's just gonna be a Volt Switch into EQ, I think. Forces the Tera here.
No, this is Scarf Urshifu, so wouldn't it be faster than Landorus?
Yeah, but I'm saying like you either force it out or you force the Tera. Like if you switch out, it's just Volt Switch into EQ, which is what I was saying. So there's you force the Tera, take that hit, and now Overquill can come in and probably just set a spike up, limit this Urshifu. Now we're just gonna go back to Raging Bolts. Never mind, my bad. And now another Volt Switch into Earthquake. Or into Overquill, sure. Get that spike up, man. There we go. And a
There it
para,
is.
now that second spike going up, I think should just be GG. Because that'll guaranteed one-shot the Urshifu. Instead, we're going to Poison Jab out of respect. I think that wins as well. No problem. Ogerpon comes in. Ivy not going to KO. This is like Fizdef Ogre Quill. And now it's just Urshifu. Does it die to the spike? It does actually die to the spike. So, that's going to be the game. Pretty well played from Kyle, all things considered. The Scarf Lando was definitely a surprise for Harris. But yeah, getting rid of that Corviknight early. Really good.
It seemed like the game was really firmly in Harris's grasp pretty early on. Like I felt like his sequences were good and he was keeping things healthy, but Kyle just managed to find the right lines of play. And that Cobalion breaking was huge. That kind of just opened up for the rest of the team to fall apart at that point.
Yeah, the Harris team is like kind of interesting because the Boots Garchomp, Boots Screamtail was kind of like hard to break. But eventually Kyle did find his opening to get that Cobalion in, go for the Swords Dance, and really start breaking down this this Fat Core. And once one thing falls, the rest is short to follow. You know what I mean? Nice,
dude. Just copy what I said and make it sound smarter.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, bro.
No problem, man. So you know what they say about great minds? They wear big gloves.
They just copy each other? Oh.
Wait, no, I got that wrong. My bad. That was a meta joke. Love that. All right, now we have VGC.
I'll probably just skip, right?
Well, this is the series deciding game, right? Because at this point, yeah, we haven't been keeping track of the score, but it's actually 4 wins for the Alliance and 3 for the Surfers. The Alliance have won a lot of them back to back. And so now it's up to Null to tie up the series, keep them even within a shot of playoffs. But if Alliance win with Trace, they're looking like more of a win and in situation for week 7 up against the Ancient Tacticians. And whoa, that Chi-Yu like sprite, you see that?
Tough as hell, yeah.
Wait, is that like only every once in a while? There it is. Oh my god, that's so raw. Sorry, my bad. And yeah, all right. So we see a lot of Terra Fairies.
I get it. That's how
an
it was.
Interesting
when
thing.
When I saw Gudra Hisui, he does this thing where he like goes into his shell really quick and then comes back out with the Gen 5 sprites. It looks amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Are we getting DFL week 3 to 4 coverage? Or are you too busy? I'll probably only do DFL coverage for the playoffs at this point. Good
All right, guys,
morning.
tap into the Glob stream.
Good
the Glob
morning.
stream, we're gonna do DFL coverage every match.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have fun with that. All right, but this is an interesting thing about VGC draft. Everyone's always like, "Oh, fairy types suck ass," and then they pull up, and what do they have? Terra Fairy, Terra Fairy, Terra Fairy. What can I say? I think they're silly. I'm smarter than all of the VGC guys, right? If it's me, I'm bringing a Clefable, and I don't even have to use my Terra Fairy. No, don't do that. But you know what I mean. Let's get into it. I've been waffling a little bit. All right, Roaring Moon or Saluna into Chi-Yu and Torn T. All right, do we see a booster speed? We do not. So Torn has the Tailwind advantage here, but can Chi-Yu knock out the Roaring Moon in one? It's Terra Fairy, right? No, it's Terra Fire. Stupid. There's a Roaring Moon right there. Right. So we're not really threatening one-shots on either Roaring Moon or Ursaluna here. Maybe Ursaluna with like Overheat and like Bleak Wind or something, but that's what the Terra Fire is for. We see an Icy Wind, which is basically just Tailwind Light. But the Roaring Moon is Covert Cloak, or like
and the Chi-Yu is not Scarf, so that's
or Clear Amulet maybe.
There.
Yeah, so
one of the two. Yep.
Gonna get the Tailwind up, but Ursaluna at -1 means it's still gonna be slower than the Chi-Yu, so it's gonna have to take this Heat Wave. But Headlong Rush, gonna one-shot that thing, of course. And now Raging Bolt comes in to replace the Chi-Yu with Tailwind up, gets the booster special attack. Thunderclap crit is into Ursaluna. Definitely matters. Like that was not dying
for sure.
But
even
also,
at -1, I feel like it lives.
But it would have been in range of Torn, I think. And I think you're slower than Torn.
If you're max speed, you're faster. If you're max speed.
No, you're -1 speed. So even in Tailwind, you're definitely slower than Torn.
Oh yeah, correct.
So if you see like a Bleak Wind, maybe.
Oh, nice Iron Head.
Or an Icy Wind. I don't know if Icy Wind would have KO'd after the Thunderclap.
So was that like hard calling a Tera Fairy there from Bolt or what?
It was trying to, yeah, because this is a Tera Fairy Bolt.
Surely.
Clear
yeah.
Amulet would have shown text. Would it have? I guess.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. That's true. That's true. So,
it's,
it is Covert Cloak.
So it's Cloak, yeah. All right. So Fluttermane comes in. We switch to Mousehold. Go for a Moonblast. This time we Tera Fairy the bolts. But now Icy Wind comes out, slows down both these guys. So even in Tailwind, it's going to be a little bit rough. There's only one turn of Tailwind, so maybe a double Protect incoming. Now we're going to see a switch to Annihilate and sack the Raging Bolt, so no Protect anywhere. Now, Tailwind's over. You can go for a Tailwind of your own with the Torn, or just go for Icy Wind, like same thing at this point. Drain Punch going to knock out the Mousehold. And Moonblast into the Torn. That's Specs Fluttermane for sure.
That's Specs as hell, yeah.
But
I'm wondering why the Annihilate
KO.
Wasn't targeted there.
Well, because even if you kill the Annihilate, the Torn's just going to sweep with Icy Wind, right? Because Roaring Moon's going to be in range.
No, because Fluttermane would live too. I guess you'd have to hit double Bleak Wind then. You could have at least forced it to be a double Bleak Wind hit. No, I'm saying that last turn if you Moonblast into Annihilate instead.
Yeah. So Moonblast into Annihilate. Torn is at full. Goes for an Icy Wind.
And then you gotta hit a Bleak Wind.
Mousehold's dead. Flutter's dead. Next turn, Roaring Moon, Fluttermane. You have to hit a Bleak Wind, on Roaring Moon and Fluttermane.
Yeah.
You live the Moonblast, and then the next one knocks out Fluttermane. So, like, assuming the moves hit, it doesn't matter, but you want to force the moves to hit, right? So, a little bit of a misplay, but Trace was still probably favored in that endgame, all things considered. Not by much, though. Bleak Wind is not the most accurate move. And now we have game 2. See any adjustments being made? See Roaring Moon and the Mousehold this time at the lead slot. And Torn Chiyu, if it worked, why fix it? This time I'm going to Tera Fairy the Torn, immediately knock out the Roaring Moon, turn 1, dodge the Super Fang, and Heatwave brings the Mousehold down to Sash. Could not ask for a better turn 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Ursaluna in. This is going to be tough to pull back. Tera fires the Ursaluna. Okay, Helping Hand. That Ursaluna takes nothing from that Tera Blast. And Heatwave is going to knock out the Mousehold, but this Earthquake KOs the Chiyu, does a lot to the Torn. Now what's in the back? Fluttermane. Oh, maybe a Dazzling Gleam could be pretty dangerous here.
Pretty strong. There's no wide guard left. Yep.
Yeah. Tera Blast into the Fluttermane. But we just Moonblast. Oh, it doesn't kill the Annihilate. So is that
just a slow Fluttermane, or is that? It's not Scarf Torn.
That's a slow Fluttermane. Yeah, I think so. Maybe it's Scarf Torn because it did only click Icy Wind last game, right?
Right.
You might be onto something there, actually. So actually, that not clicking versus the Annihilate did matter. But
that's
also
what I'm saying. If it was Scarf Icy Wind, then.
But also we see it didn't kill the Annihilate.
The Moonblast?
Yeah, it did 95 in this game.
And where do you see that's on Roaring Moon? Or no, that's
here.
Oh.
It's nicknamed Moon. Maybe he's just prepared for everything. I don't know, man.
Yeah, these Pokemon are on drugs. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how Scarf Moonblast is playing that. Yeah.
Alright, but Ursaluna 1v1 versus the Raging Bolt. Can it survive a booster? Oh, not even close.
Nope.
So Nullify after the worst turn 1
I'm
ever.
Thinking that might be Assault Vest Ursaluna.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information gathered into
that
game
especially
3.
means that Thunderclap mattered, right? In that game 1.
Yeah, for sure.
It crit through the right.
Now we'll see. Roaring Moon Mousehold again. And then Torn Annihilate this time. Wait, a Tera Ghost Mousehold, because the Annihilate is definitely clicking a fighting move here. Good resource to be found.
Gambit. Yeah.
Covers the final gambit, covers a close combat, all sorts of things. We see an Icy Wind, but that's only going to slow down the Mousehold. We're going to see a Tailwind come out, and a close combat is clicked, so really nice Tera there. But that does mean you don't have it for the Ursaluna in the back, which was a big deal in the other games.
There it is.
Yeah, it was Scarf.
Yeah.
We Encore, just in case the Annihilate stayed in, which makes sense. And now we Follow Me. Make sure that the Raging Bolt is targeting the Mousehold. That goes down, but I think that's what you kind of wanted right now. You have an extra turn of Tailwind. You get your Fluttermane in. You can just go for a Dazzling Gleam. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This looks amazing.
Follow that up with a knockoff into the Annihilate. Yeah, Assault Vest. That makes a lot of sense.
That's why I lived.
Yeah. Yeah, but now it's Fluttermane Ursaluna versus Chi-Yu and Raging Bolt, but this is an Assault Vest Ursaluna, and Fluttermane gonna do a lot of damage. Whoa. How did that kill the Raging Bolt?
Because of the Beads of Ruin.
Oh, the Beads of Ruins, the self-goob. Oh no.
Literally a self-goob.
And the Ursaluna lives.
Wow. What
Oh my god.
beast.
Actually beast mode. That was crazy. Maybe just better, yeah. That was actually a good VGC game. Crazy.
Pretty wild set. Are
Now,
you out of time here?
I think we are going to be out of time for this one, so we're going to cover the Infernal Armory versus Judgment series tomorrow at maybe 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. Eastern. If you're not in those time zones, get a better time zone or like do math, you know? Yeah, we'll see you then. I think Glop will be joining me. It'll be great. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. If you've enjoyed the stream, leave a like. Obviously, helps me out with the algorithm and stuff. I would really appreciate that. And of course, catch the 4th series tomorrow. All right, peace. Thanks for joining me, Glop, and I'll see you in the next one.